West Virginia, approximately 0.0% of our fuel comes from the Colonial Pipeline that was ransomwared, attacked, whatever you want to call it. 0.0. That means if you can hear my voice and you're listening through a traditional radio, there is a 100% chance that there is no gas shortage where you are, and you can just get it when you need it. But that's not stopping some of you. Oh my God. What is happening? You know, I think about when the pandemic hit and toilet paper was all the rage. I still maintain that must have been the good people at Charmin, or maybe those damn Charmin bears that put it out there on social media that we're going to run out. Because that was never a thing that would have happened had we not gone out and bought it all. We did it to ourselves. And here we are again, doing it to ourselves. You know, there is no doubt that there are places on the East Coast that are having this issue. 45% of the gas that comes to the East Coast, and these states are not West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, by the way. I think a very small percentage over in the Eastern Panhandle, a very small percentage may come from there. But this is not North Carolina. This is not Georgia. This is not South Carolina, places that have almost half of their gas comes from that pipeline. But yet we are acting according. I don't know if North Carolina does it, we have to do it too. I have no idea what's happening. We have a call back there, Lola?
Yes, this is Mr. Wright.
Mr. Wright, watching his new TV.
Well, actually, I'm not now because I'm on the phone. I took the time out.
Okay, you took time. Yeah, I hope you have been glued to your new television.
I'm trying to get it in my office so I can watch it like all day long, but now I just have the radio so I get to listen to you guys.
Well, we appreciate that. What's on your mind, sir?
Well, you know, talking about this gas deal. You know, my daughter was away. She went on she got out of college. I think it was Friday was her last day, but they went to the beach Thursday, and you know, finals and everything's online anyway, so she just did them in the lobby of the hotel. And she was down in South Carolina, and she's oblivious to the gas, whatever's going on in the gas world. But since she was coming home yesterday, I thought, you know what? I'm going to put some gas in her car because I've been driving it. And so I got out to get gas, and I said, this is just going to get crazy with this gas. And Lee said, oh, no, this isn't going to affect us. We don't get the gas from that pipeline, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I kind of figured that, but I figured I'd get gas before they would gouge us anyway. She said, oh, no, we'll be fine. Well, today I drove by, it's 10 cents a gallon more than it was yesterday.
Oh, actually, that's fairly moderate. For
$2.99.
Oh, you know what? Actually, the national average, for the first time in 7 years, the national gas average is over $3.
Yep,
yeah,
crazy.
It is crazy. And now, what kind of line did you see? Was there any line around?
I had to wait for, I don't know, a minute.
Yeah, I mean
it's just a small gas station. They got 4 pumps.
Okay, I mean, so that's really not too bad. I mean, yeah. After work tonight, I'm going to stop at the Highlands and get gas, which I'm sure there is no problem. I'm sure there is gas there, but it
will be over $3 a gallon there because this one I buy gas at is one of the cheapest ones around here.
Yeah, I mean, it probably will, and I guess I can't believe I'm about to say this out loud. I'm not as much worried about the price of it. I mean, yeah, I don't want to, because I drive a lot. I don't want to pay more than I have to. But I also, as long as I know that it's there, I mean, there are certain things in life that you have to make concessions for. I mean, look, when I don't know about you, but I know you're probably a little older than me, but not much. When we were kids, did you go out and did you go to wing night with your buddies?
Dude, when I went to wing night, they were 10 cents.
That's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. When we were going to wing night with your pals, 10 cents a wing, you guys could go in and, I mean, literally the whole crowd could order every chicken wing the place had. The bill would be like $30.
Yep.
You know, and now if you're lucky when you go out on wing night, you're lucky if they're under $1.
Yep, exactly. It's crazy.
And so, I mean, we've established that things are going to always get more expensive, and gas is one of those things. You know, Lowell actually had a great explanation for it a couple weeks ago, talking about the futures. You know, how oil works with the futures. But this is something that offers an opportunity right now for people that have some gas in their well to sell you. Oh man, got to
Right.
tell you, the demand is crazy. Somehow this managed to go up 25 cents overnight, because I've seen some do that. I don't know if you've seen this at all, and this is something I was going to start to tell everybody before you called. I have been getting pictures. I have a lot of friends that live in Georgia, North Carolina, as I spent a chunk of my life living in the South in North Carolina and Florida. But I have people sending me pictures of people filling up garbage bags.
Hey, I saw something of that. A lady had like a Kroger bag. She was trying to put gas in.
Okay, I didn't see that. I saw somebody that had their trunk had two full, what looked like, you know, the 55-gallon garbage bags full of gas. Somebody sent me a picture yesterday of a couple 55-gallon drums in the back of somebody's pickup truck that they filled
My
up.
pool's not open yet, so it's got some water drained out of it. I think I'm just going to drain the rest of it and fill it up with gas.
I tell you what, you'd be the most popular guy in the neighborhood.
Well, you know, it's just beginning to. I'm in the business I'm in. We sell a lot of food service products. And we're getting notifications from pretty much every single vendor that we deal with, whether it be food or your little carry-out trays, of price increases June 1st, anywhere from 8 to 16% on every single item.
Wow.
And our meat suppliers don't even want to quote us prices right now because they have no idea what they're going to be, because we're working on business that's going to generate starting July 1st with I think whatever government quarter that is. It's like their fourth quarter or third quarter, whatever.
Yeah.
They're different than the normal world. And they don't want to quote us. And plus they're exporting. Our beef supplier is exporting so much beef right now because they can get more for it overseas than they can here.
Sure.
And you can make the price whatever you want it to be, and you still can't get it here.
You know, that's interesting. And since you kind of brought that up, and asked you a question that maybe you're not terribly sure of, but you would probably be the right person to ask. You know, as we get ready to head into summer, I mean, it doesn't necessarily always feel like it here in the month of May, but we are in fact heading towards that time of year.
I've umpired one game in short sleeves this year so far.
Yeah, no, I believe you. But as someone who deals with the supply and demand, especially of food products and things like that, we head into summer. People are going to want to do everything they can to just be outside or away from their houses, or at least doing something with friends and family. And we get into those holidays, like, of course, Memorial Day on the way, 4th of July and Labor Day, all compacted into that, like, 3.5-month period there. I would imagine that everybody's going to take the opportunity to make you pay as much as you can for things that we kind of took for granted, like hot dogs and hamburgers and buns and stuff like that.
They're already saying shortages of hot dogs and bacon is coming up next down the line. And, you know, what I foresee, no one's mentioned yet, but why not? Let's not have a shortage of propane while we're at it so we can't grill out.
There actually has been. Few people have talked about that. We for my little group that goes out and does things together. When we go out and tailgate, we have one of those fold up grills that requires just a little tiny screw in canister. And I went to Walmart a couple weeks ago, and I picked up 2, and there were only 4 on the shelf, and I should have just grabbed them all. I mean, I don't want to be the guy that hoards things, but we will use it. It's not like it's going to sit in my basement on a shelf, but yeah, a lot of this stuff it's not going to be readily available like you're used to. I mean, how many times this happened to anybody? If you own a grill, you're about to start grilling, or you turn the grill on to get it warmed up, and the gas tank runs out, so you can run to the convenience store closest to your house and just change out your propane tank. We're not going to have that.
I have 5 tanks. If I run out, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, I was going to say, you run out, you're definitely in trouble.
And I have them just because of that reason. I was running out, and I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's good insight. Thanks, Mr. Wright. I appreciate the call,
Hey,
pal.
take it easy.
Sure, take care. Yeah, that's good information. Good information. We'll go ahead and take our quick break here. We'll come back. I want to talk to you guys about some of this stuff that's going on with this gas shortage, and talk about where you can find out how to get gas, especially if you're taking a road trip. We'll be right back here on The Watchdog.
You know, there's variety shows, and then there's, well, my variety show. I'm Bill DeFabio, and I bring you the best variety talk in the Ohio Valley. quite possibly the world. Join me from noon till 2 to talk sports, nostalgia, and hear from some of the legends of the game. You won't believe who I have on next. The Bill DeFabio Variety Show, noon till 2 on the Watchdog.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Nagging aches in your foot or ankle that won't go away? Podiatric physicians can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, or show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and have been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. To find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
Studies show that people with good oral health are more likely to have good overall health. That's why it's so important to maintain a healthy diet, to brush your teeth at least twice a day for 2 minutes, to floss once a day, and remember to see your dentist regularly. Ohio Dental Association dentists are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care. Ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association so you know you are being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist near you, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
We all have someone we fight for. Join the Nailers Saturday, May 15th for Hockey Fights Cancer. Sign the I Fight For dasher before it's placed on the boards during an intermission. Take home your own personal Nailers I Fight For sign. Buy tickets now for Hockey Fights Cancer Night, Saturday, May 15th, puck drop 7:10. And also for Sunday, May 16th at 4:10 when the Nailers battle Greenville back-to-back. Call 304-234-GOAL or visit WheelingNailers.com. This is Nail City.
A serious injury from an accident can be just the start of your worries. What if you cannot return to work? How do you take care of your family if you're disabled? At Gelner Law Offices, we represent seriously injured people and understand their problem. We know how to get you fair compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content, and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tab, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF. Every weeknight at 6 p.m., join the voice of the Mountaineers, Tony Caridi, on The Watchdog. Tony informs and entertains WVU fans with the latest Mountaineer sports news. If it happens in the world of gold and blue, Tony knows about it and shares it with you. Sportsline, weeknights at 6 on The Watchdog.
Gloria, you're always on the
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Rick. That's Lola. Real big talk here on the Watchdog. And I remember I was talking about how that's St. Louis, the St. Louis Blues goal song. My buddy, who is a huge Blues fan, they just barely slid into the Stanley Cup playoffs, and he sent me a picture of Gloria. So he was very excited. By the way, the Penguins will play here in the playoffs. You'll be able to listen to the Pens playoff games right here on the Watchdog, and we'll have that information for you. We do know they are going to start this weekend. We just don't know when and what time as of right now, but we will have those games. Pens look prime for the playoffs, although they have done that before and not performed, but I feel better about it this season than I have in the last. 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600. That's our phone number. Would love to talk to you guys today about all the things that are going on out of the world. But right now, let's talk about the gas shortage. Mr. Wright had called and said that he went to fill up, and it was 10 cents more from one day to the next. I think you're going to find that. I think you're going to find gas. I mean, let's just talk about that. I went to gasbuddy.com, which anybody can go to. You don't have to even download the app. If you just have internet access, you can go to the website. It's really informative, and everywhere around us has gas. Everywhere. I just put in 26003 as the zip code and looked. Everything around has gas. So when you're thinking about going out and filling up that trash bag full of gas, you don't have to. There's gas there for you. Now, this is a different story. We know some people, Lola, that are traveling, that are planning to travel to the beach.
Yeah,
And
you're going to have to stop somewhere through that whole nightmare.
And that, right now, and I know a lot of people as we get ready to embark on summertime, or if you're just trying to go south to find some summertime, or at least close to it, you're gonna go through this. And this is only expected to last a few more days, by the way. This is not the future. I mean, that's one of the things I don't understand. In 3 days, I mean, like by Friday or Saturday, all the gas will be flowing. And by the weekend, you should be completely good if you're in this, in some of those parts of the South that are seeing the gas shortages. What the hell are you going to do? Like, you can only fill up your lawnmower so many times. Like, you're going to, and will people stash it? Now, here's where I think we're going to see some problems. Gas can't be just stored anywhere. And so, I mean, when people are going to go, well, I'm waiting for the next time. I'm going to keep it in my basement. You're probably going to die from that. I wouldn't do that. It's a bad choice. But there are people that are planning to gear up and head south. And I really, I got to tell you, this Gas Buddy thing is really great as far as being able to tell you even what the average is around there. And so I just looked. I just for, like I said, for Wheeling, I just put in the zip code here, and we're completely good. Completely good. But what is it? What is it in some other places? What is it in Charlotte? You can just, if you're planning on traveling there, you can just pull up Charlotte and find gas prices. So you can actually plan your trips if you know that you're going to need a couple of tanks of gas. So go. You can still go. It's the panic. And again, here's what Jim Justice, Governor Jim, good on him, just said, we're creating our own fuel shortage. I mean, he's right. We're creating this problem ourselves. But here's what the news does. For 3 days, and we didn't do this. We just told you, hey, we don't have this problem. We don't get our gas from this pipeline. But the news told everybody to panic. So they panicked, and so that gave them 3 days of mass hysteria news, which news stations love to do.
I know.
That's what the media does. Come on, everybody. That's what the media does. They feed you the idea, and then you consume it, and then they get to spend 3 or 4 days going, all is well. Calm down. We don't have this gas shortage. Look, it's a song as old as time. Create the panic, and then sell you the solution. I mean, it's just, it's happening with this gas shortage. West Virginia doesn't have this problem, but yet West Virginia created this problem, so they have the problem. Why? Why? Is it expensive? Yeah, I mean, over $3 a gallon. And Mr. Wright said, I'm going to stop at the Highlands on my way home. I'm going to pay over $3 a gallon. But you know what? It's there. I can get home. It's inconvenient. Yeah, do I want to spend $18 more than I have to get home? No. But as long as I can get there, it's what we're all playing by. It's the rule we're all playing by.
My niece, on the weekend, something was said about gas prices, and she says, you know what? I need gas. I stop. I buy gas. She goes, because it is a necessity.
Yeah.
It is, you can fret over it. You can complain about the price of gas. You can blame it on whatever you want to blame it on. But the fact of the matter is, you're going to spend that money because you have to. So just stop fretting over it.
Yeah.
Like one time, we were all going through, who's got the cheapest gas? Who's got the cheapest gas? And a friend called me and said, you're going to drive 20 miles to save 5 cents a gallon. How much are you going to use getting there to save your 5 cents a gallon? We torture ourselves with this, but it's ridiculous. You're going to pay what you're going to pay.
Yeah.
Or you're not driving.
Or you're not going anywhere. That's why the GasBuddy.com thing is neat, because if it's just say, you're leaving Elm Grove and you're going to go out 70 towards Columbus. Well, you could just look and go, okay, well, what are the gas prices on my way there? And that's where I'll stop. That's convenient. But yeah, to drive, go, okay, well, I've got to find the cheapest gas. To me, the convenience of just getting gas and leaving is worth more than the 35, 50 cents that I'll save and going around trying to find it cheaper. And I mean, I'm famous for this because, as I mentioned before, I live in Washington County, Pennsylvania. I come to Wheeling for work every day, and then my other job is in Marietta, Ohio. Boy, there's an oasis on my way to Marietta, Ohio, because as I get deeper into Ohio, I mean, there's a place on my way right before I get off 70 and onto 77. It's probably about 6 miles out. That always has there's a speedway there that is always the cheapest that I see on my entire route.
That's right. Yeah, I know exactly where. I know exactly.
And there's another big gas station on the other side, and they're both truck stop as well. So I mean, there's a lot of traffic in and out of there. And it's like, how the hell is it 28 cents cheaper if I just go another 12 miles down the road? So I know to make sure that I have enough gas, because Pennsylvania, out of the 3 states, has the highest. It is the highest. I mean, the Pennsylvania state gas tax is unbelievable. And so I know it's like, make sure you have enough gas to get to that gas station where then you fill up, and then I save probably 12 or 15 bucks.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some reasons for actually before Ohio raised their gas tax. I always just shot across the river and bought my gas there because it was like literally 20 cents cheaper. And not too long ago, all the places out east of here, like Elm Grove, the Highlands, all that, the Marathon by my house was 21 cents cheaper. And it's all Marathon.
Yeah.
But it was 21 cents cheaper.
You know what's blown my mind before is I have seen gas prices different at the Sheets at the Highlands, separated by an overpass, by a couple of cents. They have oftentimes, if I stopped on my way and grabbed something to eat, and then I decided I needed to get gas before I went home, and then stopped on the other direction, going back home, I've seen gas like different prices. I don't know how that happens, but I mean, right now, the idea is that the gouging, not here so much. I mean, we're all getting gouged on gas, but I don't think that's the owners of the gas stations that are doing that. But down south, I mean, in some of those small towns that are just like, I mean, hell, in a lot of those small towns, the sheriff probably owns the gas station too. I mean, what are you going to do about, like, what is that, Clark Griswold, when they go, and he goes off the rails and they have to get the car fixed. And they're like, does your sheriff know of your shady business practices? And he whips out his sheriff's badge. Yep. What do you got? So yeah, I mean, that happens a lot, but it's not happening here. Everybody, just chill. Fill up your gas tank just like you regularly would. Don't freak out about it. We'll go ahead and take a break. We'll move on to some different subjects. We'll take your calls today too. 304-214-1600. You know what? I'll tell you when we come back. This is the Watchdog.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Chris Lawrence. The White House now says there's a change in the schedule in connection with a visit tomorrow from First Lady Jill Biden to West Virginia. She will not be going to Arnoldsburg Elementary in Calhoun County. That because of a COVID-19 quarantine issue that involves the school. Mrs. Biden still has stops scheduled in Charleston, including at a vaccination clinic at Capitol High School, as well as a visit with the West Virginia National Guard. She'll be traveling with U.S. Senator Joe Manchin and Charleston native and actress Jennifer Garner. A man is in custody charged today after an early morning stabbing in Charleston. 37-year-old Michael Fleming Jr. was charged with first-degree murder in the stabbing death of his fiancée, 34-year-old Virginia Bradford. Charleston police say Bradford suffered multiple stab wounds at a home the two shared on Sunset Drive in Charleston. Fleming is in the South Central Regional Jail. Although West Virginia does not get very much of its fuel supply from the Colonial Pipeline, there are still scattered reports of gas lines and gas hoarding here in the Mountain State. Those reports particularly pointed in the Eastern Panhandle, where gas stations in neighboring Virginia and Maryland are running out of fuel. Tracy Nelson, president of the Oil Marketers and Grocers Association of West Virginia, says yes, there are reports of stations in West Virginia being out of gas, but she says that's to be blamed on consumer panic and not producers.
Consumers are creating these outages right now because they're going in and filling up, gas cans in their cars, even when they don't need it.
You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. It is National Hospital Week, and here in West Virginia, Hospital Association President Jim Kaufman says it's the perfect time to spotlight and thank employees of hospitals across the Mountain State.
After dealing with a worldwide pandemic for almost a year and a half, they're physically, emotionally, and spiritually drained. So this is really a great opportunity to say thank you for all that they've done.
He says it's also a good opportunity to focus on the financial struggles hospitals are forced to endure with below-cost reimbursement from government health care providers. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on the Watchdog. I'm John Thayer. Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit will be allowed to run in the Preakness Stakes on Saturday, but the horse will be subject to additional testing and monitoring after the Colts failed drug test after the Kentucky Derby. The horse's trainer, Bob Baffert, will not be in attendance at the Preakness Stake. Medina Spirit drew the number 3 post yesterday in the field of 10 horses as the 9-5 morning line favorite. Ram will start in the number 1 post, while Keep Me in Mind will also start inside Medina Spirit. Hideki Matsuyama and Jordan Spieth will both make their first start since the Masters at the AT&T Byron Nelson this weekend. Spieth coming off of a positive test from COVID-19. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. I'm John Thayer with the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on the Watchdog.
Join Macy's to help moms and babies stay healthy when you support March of Dimes this May. Here's what you can do. Make a donation today at Macys.com/MacysGives. And also give back when you shop at any Macy's store. Round up your purchase amount and donate your extra change, up to 99 cents to March of Dimes. You'll be helping families get the critical maternal health care they need and giving every mom and baby the best possible start. Make your donation today at Macy's stores and Macys.com/MacysGives.
So, how can I promote my new curbside pickup service?
It's possible with Staples Connect. I need custom floor decals that'll get noticed, not just walked on. Also possible, Staples Connect can help your business grow with custom printed sales and marketing materials. And now get 15% off signs, posters, and decals when you spend $75 or more. Explore what's new at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com. Staples Connect, the working and learning store. Ends 5/29. Visit staples.com/signage for details.
We need safe and secure elections. But Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senator Chuck Schumer are pushing legislation in S1 that would undermine West Virginia's election laws, taking away our power and putting Washington bureaucrats in charge of our elections. Their bill would allow partisan groups to collect thousands of ballots without supervision. That's currently illegal because it leaves ballots unprotected without security. threatening the integrity of our elections. Worse, Pelosi and Schumer's bill would spend billions of public funds, your money, on political campaigns. Billions to subsidize politicians, even those receiving money from private donations. They want more money for politicians and more power for Washington bureaucrats. Call Senator Joe Manchin at 304-342-5855 and tell him we need safe and secure elections, not more wasteful spending. Tell him to stop the partisan power grab and oppose S1. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
Summer starts here at your Toyota dealer, so come in and save big on the car, truck, or SUV you need, like a gas model RAV with up to $1,250 cash back, or a Camry with up to $1,750 cash back, or go with a Corolla and take up to $2,000 cash back. Visit buyatoyota.com for more great offers, to check out local inventory, and to find a dealer near you. You can take cash back or apply toward down payment. Offers vary for hybrid models. See your dealer for details. Offers end June 1st. Toyota. Let's go places. Summer starts here at your Toyota dealer, but where it goes is up to you. So come in and save big on the car, truck, or SUV you need to take on anything the season has in store, like a spacious Highlander or an all-wheel drive Venza hybrid, both with up to $750 cash back. Visit buyatoyota.com for more great offers, to check out local inventory, and to find a dealer near you. You can take cash back or apply toward down payment. See your dealer for details. Offers end June 1st. Toyota. Let's go places.
CA House Music has all the gear to make your music legendary. With all the best gear, including Fender, Epiphone, Yamaha, and more, CA House will have you rocking in no time. Get the most for your money with everyday low prices. And we meet or beat internet pricing. Play before you buy and let our product specialists help you pick out the instrument that's right for you. CA House Music, supporting local musicians since 1872. Play music for life.
Are you struggling to make payments due to an unexpected financial obligation or loss of income? Are you receiving calls from debt collectors? Are you feeling overwhelmed and unsure of what steps to take next? Then you need the experience and expertise of attorney Tom McIntyre and his staff to help guide you through these temporary hardships. Want to hear more about how Tom can help? Then call 877-456-4155 and receive a free copy of Tom's ebook, When Bad Things Happen to Good People. Tom's ebook covers many questions people have about bankruptcy and includes interesting stories about people who tried to avoid filing and people who have filed for bankruptcy. We think you'll be surprised to learn some interesting facts about bankruptcy. Call 877-456-4155.
This is Bill DeFabio, your host of the variety show with Bill DeFabio. Heard on the Watchdog Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Join me from noon till 2 to talk sports, nostalgia, and hear from some of the legends of the game. You won't believe who I have on next. The Bill DeFabio Variety Show, heard on the Watchdog Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Tune in and get with the program. I'm Bill DeFabio. Join me for the Variety Show on the Watchdog.
This is the Watchdog. I'm Rick. That's Lola. Your calls at 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600. I want to take a minute and say hi to Christine. She commented on yesterday's show, and I didn't see it until I got home. But a couple days ago, I had watched a documentary called "Octopus, My Teacher," which I thought was really good, and I had told people I thought they should watch it. And she actually sent me a nice message yesterday and said that she watched it and she really enjoyed it. So again, as we is maybe we're looking for things to distract us completely from from all the things that are happening in the world. If you like a good documentary, especially about the sea, and I really like documentaries about the ocean and the sea and water, really fascinating. I just watched an orca one the other night, but that Octopus My Teacher was very good. So hello, Christine, and thank you for listening to the show and participating. We do appreciate it. Oh, we got somebody on the line, Lola?
Yep, Bill.
Bill, what's going on?
Yeah, Chris, I want to talk about the gas situation. It all started on day one of Biden's administration when he shut down the Keystone Pipeline, putting thousands of people, union people, out of work who he claims he's for. That's when the prices started inching up. So we could go back to that. And then his idiocy on the border, letting all these people in. He's destroying this country, I'm telling you. I like to listen to somebody calling that voted for this guy and to tell us what he's doing that makes sense. You know, all the car batteries, he goes to electric cars, most of the car batteries, 90% are made in China. Okay, so that benefits China. I think he's in the back pocket of China and Ukraine and Russia. That's why they're getting away with this stuff. I really believe this. I think gas is going to go up $5 or $6 while this clown's in office, or higher.
Well,
he went down to see Jimmy Carter to see how he could wreck the country now after Jimmy wrecked it in the 70s. He went down and get information on how to do it. You know, that's what he went down there for. This guy is killing this country, don't you think?
Look, I think there's a lot of. Let's start at the beginning. The Keystone Pipeline, I thought, was the wrong move. I agree with it. I agree with that, and I do think at that point gas prices did start to go up. But I also will say this: gas prices tend to go up this time of year anyway.
No.
Well, in the summertime they do. I mean,
last year, Rick, I'll have to interrupt you. We was paying $1.60 or so a gallon for gas, and then they say because the pandemic's loosening up. That's not it. I mean, people were going out last year. Now all the prices in the grocery stores are going up because it brought in on trucks. So there you go. I mean, he's wrecking the economy, and blaming Trump for all the people coming across the border. That's an outright lie. This guy, I mean. He is a crook. I mean, nobody wants to believe it. Rudy Giuliani's got all the information on this guy and his family, the Biden crime family. But go ahead, I'm listening.
Oh no, I'm agreeing with you. I think shutting down the Keystone Pipeline, I think was probably not the best choice. I agree. And honestly, the way Biden has done things are certainly not the way I would like to have seen them done. You're not going to get an argument from me there. I don't necessarily know that comparing the two, just Trump and Biden, because there's a lot of presidents that do a lot of things that don't make any sense, and I don't care if they're Republicans or Democrats. What I will say is this. I don't agree with a lot of the things that Joe Biden has done. A common theme on this show that Lola and I talk about often is really for a lot of things you have to look at who is in charge of your state. Biden is just, honestly, he's the signature. He is the signature on a lot of things you don't like, Bill. And you're right. There's a lot of things he's done that I don't like either. I would not have done them the same way.
How about the people on the border, Rick? Letting all them in. That's ridiculous, too.
It is. It's ridiculous. It's first of all, I think that there should have been plenty of opportunity in place I don't know if they're campaigns, I don't know if they're centers, I don't know what they are, but there should have been plenty of advance notice to all of these people that are coming to the border that this is not the time for you to try to get here. Am I okay with admitting people? Yes, in a proper fashion. Yes, I am, because again, most of us wouldn't be here if immigrants weren't allowed in America at some point. I'm one of those people. My father was a first-generation American citizen, so that's something that I can trace back to not.
My mother's from Northern Ireland, so
them
over the correct way. So
exactly. So there's a correct way, and what is happening now at the border is not the correct way.
And they got the word as soon as he became president. We didn't have this mess down there last year when Trump was still president. President Trump did everything he said he was going to do. He tried to do, but the people in Washington D.C. they didn't like him. He made them all look bad, and all they did from day one is harass this guy. Impeaching him on this and impeaching him on that, all nonsense. When you had that, what's her name, Maxine Waters, she was actually, trying to get him to stir him up and cause trouble, and they didn't do a thing to her. And we know why.
Well, there's a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of stirring. I mean, if you want, and I'm not, and really, Bill, a lot of your points, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. So I mean, there's not a way to fight. But for every Maxine Waters comment, there's a Marjorie Taylor Greene comment that doesn't make sense either and stirs the pot.
Leon Omar and AOC all out crazy. You know, they should be deported, in my opinion.
Well, I they're too radical left for me. That's for sure. You know, whether where their rightful place is, you know, I'm not the guy that figures that out. But I can tell you this: they're way too far left for anything that I would want to subscribe to. Much like Marjorie Taylor Greene is just so far out there, I couldn't follow a thing that she said. So, I mean, I don't see what I don't see, and I think this is what you don't see either. Is I don't see a lot of people that are really trying to fix whatever problems that we have. We just see people creating more. And I think that that's really where my issue is with the government right now. It really goes beyond a Democrat or Republican thing for me. It's so much infighting that you have so much power on the left side, which there is. I mean, it's power left, and there's no doubt about that. And you see so much of that being, I think, exaggerated beyond belief because they can. Now, what will happen at some point, and it's probably 2022, is a little bit of balance of power will come back to
big time.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, to the Republicans. I see. So I see Democrats just slamming so many things in that they can do right now because there's nothing really that stops that. And I think what happens in 2022 and maybe even 2024, depending, is we're just going to see a lot of this stuff undone again. When nobody's looking at the middle and how do we make it better going forward, it's just how can we take this back in 2022 and 2024 when it's like we may not even be here in 2024 if we don't start to get some things right.
You know, before the pandemic, and I really believe the pandemic, you know, was sent here by China because they didn't want Trump to be reelected. And you remember, just go back to 2019. The economy was rolling, there were jobs everywhere. We weren't in any wars. The border was under control. Everything was good. You know, they didn't want Trump to go in there, and he's playing hardball with China. You know, making fair trade deals and stuff. They don't like that. So I believe they did send that virus over here. I really believe that, and I still am not convinced that Trump lost the election. You know, there's so much underhanded stuff that's been going on for years now. You know, it just wasn't it better last year? And go back and look at the gas prices last year. I was paying $1.50, $1.60 in June, July, and August down at one of the gas stations. You know, what can you say? Now it's way up over. Don't give me that 50 cents higher or $1. It's over $1 higher than it was last year. You know, and it's going to get worse. The food prices are going up and up and up. You know, I can't be the only one that's really mad about. I'm mad about this stuff. This guy has no business being president. I mean, if he don't change his way, he's not going to change his way because he's got the fake media behind him. He's got Nancy Pelosi and Chuck E. Cheese Schumer and all these nuts behind him. He can do what he wants, and he's in the basement most of the time anyway. He's not calling the shots. Probably Barack Obama or somebody else is calling the shots. What do you think about that?
Well, we're getting ready to take a break, Bill, so I'm going to let you go, and I will discuss those couple things before we go to the break. Thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Take care of yourself. You know, Bill, first of all, Bill is, he's part of an angry group of people. He's not the only person. Times are hard. And for me, I can't point to one thing or another, and obviously Bill's theme there was he's not happy with the execution of business by the president. Well, he's not alone. I mean, you know, Lolo, you and I have talked about this that the thing that we both wish was possible was just the truth. I mean, because follow me here, and I know this probably won't be terribly popular with Bill, but even though Biden wasn't a person that I would have ever really thought was my type of guy, in the 47 years that he has been in the government, he wasn't this guy that he is now. And I will say that. I am surprised that Joe Biden has what seemingly is bowed to really the far left. I think he's doing way more far left things than I would have imagined. Because if you look at his record, I mean, he's been pro-police and pro-military for as long as I can remember. And I think that's pretty accurate. And I don't feel like he's not pro-police or pro-military now. I think that's one he stays far away from, to be perfectly honest with you. The situation at the border, it's not a good situation. It's not a good situation. And it is happening on his watch, Bill. So I agree. I don't know that he purposely caused this situation, but I know that it's not a good situation. And as much as I hate to do it, I have to wonder why Kamala Harris, who was put in charge of that situation, hasn't been there, hasn't addressed the issue. In fact, she hasn't had a press conference in, I think, 50-some days. So really what exactly she's doing, I couldn't tell you. So your frustration is understood, Bill. Now, I don't maybe go as extreme with it as you do. I'm also one of these people that doesn't believe the election was fixed. I think the election was the election. And to say that it was fixed, it's not something that I could say. But you're not alone in feeling that way. I will probably end this on this note. America has been down before. I don't know in my lifetime if it has been down like it feels down right now, but I know it's been here every day since I've been on the planet, and it continues to endure. I don't like what's happening right now on a lot of things. I think the idea of defunding the police is ridiculous, and that is one of the hot narratives now. I think what's happening at the border is ridiculous. I also think, and Bill, you mentioned, there were jobs everywhere when Trump was president. There are jobs everywhere right now. There are jobs everywhere right now. So I always kind of look at jobs as, and I will say this, the economy definitely felt better towards the end of the Trump administration. I mean, I know what I got. I know how I got it. There was a lot of things that the Trump administration did that made a lot of people more financially secure. So you're not alone. You're not alone. But I will say, in final closing here, America has been down before, and America continues to move forward, and I think it will continue to move forward. Everything will fluctuate on the way there, but America will maintain. I 100% believe that. We're going to go ahead and get to a break. We'll take your calls coming up next hour. We can talk about this a little more if you want to. We'll talk about Liz Cheney. That was a big one today. It's interesting out there. It sure is. This is The Watchdog.
Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. State Secretary Antony Blinken condemned Hamas for launching a barrage of rockets into Israel and also offered condolences to the dozens killed in Gaza from Israeli airstrikes. Blinken says he spoke with Israel's prime minister and that the U.S. is sending a diplomatic team for emergency talks.
We are deeply engaged across the board, the State Department, the White House, senior officials, with the Israelis, with Palestinians, with other countries and partners in the region, to call for and push for de-escalation.
Israel and Hamas-ruled Gaza have been locked into 3 days of escalating violence. President Biden met with congressional leaders at the White House discussing the violence in Israel. He also invited the GOP and Democratic leaders to discuss his infrastructure proposal. Senator Mitch McConnell calling the meeting productive, but outlined some sticking points.
The first step is obviously to define what infrastructure is, the definition of it. And we, I think, all agreed to work on that together.
The national average for gas prices hitting the $3 per gallon mark across the country after a cyber attack that hit a major East Coast pipeline. States like North Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee reporting gas shortages. Colonial Pipeline says it's confident it will be back online by the end of the week. Liz Cheney is out, stripped of her leadership role today by House Republicans. They were upset at the Wyoming congresswoman for criticizing former President Trump's false claim the election was stolen. ABC's Terry Moran says the secret ballot carried a loud message.
There's no question he's going to run again in 2024, and he has demonstrated great political instinct and understanding of how to move forward. The state Republican parties around the country are rearranging their election laws to try to advantage him in many ways, including handing over in several states the ultimate decision about who wins the presidential election to the state legislatures.
You're listening to ABC News.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Most people know that Mr. Clean Magic Eraser removes crayon and scuff marks from walls, but did you know it even cleans tough kitchen and bathroom messes that are sometimes tough to tackle? Just wet, squeeze, and erase gray soap scum on your bathtub. Erase cloudy hard water spots in your shower. Erase burnt-on stovetop messes. So for all your tough kitchen and bathroom messes, try Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
At CDW, we get your employees need their data to go where they go.
That's why we started tattooing company data right on them.
Ow!
Now they have permanent access.
Ouch. Well, at CDW, we can transform your data center painlessly, on-prem and in the cloud, with a Dell technology solution so your data isn't just available, it's powerful.
Phew. I was about to get these Q4 financials tattooed on my neck.
Close call. For technology that moves you forward, trust Dell Technologies and IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Learn more at cdw.com/DellTech.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has promised a full, transparent, independent public review of his government's handling of the COVID crisis.
The state has an obligation to examine its actions as rigorously and as candidly as possible and to learn every lesson for the future.
The Prime Minister says he wants the review to take place next year. The pandemic has claimed nearly 128,000 lives in the UK, the highest death toll in Europe. A San Francisco financier sentenced today for his role in the college admissions cheating scandal.
When Bill McGlashan, the founder of TPG Growth, pleaded guilty in February, he became the 30th parent to admit to criminal conduct in the nationwide scheme. McGlashan paid $50,000 to fix his son's ACT score. The judge said there was no real victim here, but there was what he called a loss to the overall educational system in this country when McGlashan and other parents in the scheme tried to cheat. McGlashan apologized in court before he was sentenced to 3 months in prison and a $250,000 fine. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
A Hollywood legend has died.
Captain, my captain. Sit down, Mr. Anderson. You hear me? Sit down. Sit down.
That's Norman Lloyd as headmaster, Mr. Nolan in the film Dead Poets Society. He started in show business 8 decades ago, working with Alfred Hitchcock and Charlie Chaplin. He was one of 6. This is ABC News.
Only T-Mobile for Business uses unconventional thinking to help businesses realize new possibilities, like our WFX solutions, enabled by our nationwide 5G network that help teams stay connected and productive where work happens. We also provide an award-winning customer experience and first-class benefits with every plan. Get unmatched network support and value without any trade-offs at T-Mobile.com/unconventional. Capable device required. Coverage not available in some areas. Some uses may require certain plan or features. See T-Mobile.com.
Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Governor Mike DeWine was among a bipartisan group of 6 governors to join President Joe Biden in a virtual discussion yesterday about how the nation can get more Americans vaccinated. Laura Queso with affiliate station WKYC-TV in Cleveland reports.
Governor DeWine highlighted how Ohio has been able to get nursing home staff and residents vaccinated, the importance of his ongoing communication with local health departments, new walk-in clinics. Ohio has 1,900 vaccination sites. Convenience is key.
The businesses that have us come in have a health partner that does it. They work very closely with their employees, and they're able to get an uptake that, quite candidly, I don't think we would have gotten any other way.
I'm Laura Queso.
And Ohio's restaurants continue to struggle to maintain adequate staffing levels. Roxanne Elias with affiliate WTOL-TV in Toledo has more with John Barker, who heads the Ohio Restaurant Association.
Some are looking to hire, others have to close early because they don't have the staff. But it could be worse. Some places aren't open at all. May 23rd, Ohio will implement a new rule for those out of work.
Ohio decided to require employees that if you're on unemployment, you at least have to go out and try to secure employment. You have to go out and interview and do those kind of things. And I think that will bring some people back into the marketplace.
Roxanne Elias in Toledo.
And I'm Daniel Barnett on the Ohio News Network.
More live and local programming than anyone else in the Ohio Valley. The Watchdog returns in moments.
Hey, I'm going to the kitchen. Can I grab you a Coors Light?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Huh. I never knew there was a zip line in my fridge. Hey, buddy! Yeah. You got 2 Coors Lights up there?
You got it!
Always brewed down to 34 degrees. With a taste as cold as the Rockies, only Coors Light gives you refreshment every time.
Here you go. 2 Coors Lights.
Awesome, man. Wow, these are really cold.
That's the only way I deliver it.
Sure. I mean, you being a mountain climber and all.
Yep.
You probably need a pretty warm coat in there, huh?
Yep.
Hey, Ben!
Yeah!
Ask him if he has any nachos.
You got any nachos in there?
No.
Just icy cold Coors Light?
Yep.
That makes sense. It is the Rockies.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
Most of us are faced with uncertainty every day. Your job, your finances, sporting events, schooling for your children, and so much more. With so much uncertainty surrounding you, there's one auto dealership that you can be certain about, and that's Doan Ford. You can be certain that you always get a great deal and the best service afterwards. Being in business for over 50 years has given Doan Ford the reputation of being a strong, reliable dealership. Be certain. Choose Doan Ford. Online at DoanFord.com.
I'm not buying till I check Doan Ford.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker Darnell Foster with a look at your local weather forecast for your Wednesday. Mostly sunny skies, a daytime high near 63. Mainly clear through the overnight with a low near 37. Mostly sunny skies once again for your Thursday with highs near 67 degrees. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors. It's not red. It's not blue. It's just real. Real Big Talk with Big Rick continues now on the Watchdog.
Welcome back to the Watchdog. I'm Rick. That's Lola. UB40 did that song, but do you know who wrote it?
I know this. I don't know who.
One of America's greatest songwriters, Mr. Neil Diamond. This is a Neil Diamond song.
I mean, I've heard. I had that on a CD.
Yeah.
You know, him doing that song.
Yeah, he actually wrote that song, and they used that song in the movie Sliver, I believe it was. So it was kind of a song that was Neil Diamond's that he let UB40 record, and they used it into a movie. I'm a big Neil Diamond fan. I know it seems kind of odd for a guy my age that has spent his whole life in a rock and roll business to love Neil Diamond, but I do. I'm not even ashamed of it. Welcome back, 304-214-1600, 304-214-1600. I can see it's going to be a spirited day here at the Watchdog, and that's fine. You guys are allowed to call with whatever's on your mind, and we talk about it. So if it's not the subject that we're on, you're welcome to bring your own. I think this is a pretty big one, and I honestly, it's one that, I mean, I understand why it happened, but I just don't get how we got to this point. Liz Cheney lost her position as the third-ranking Republican in the House this morning when the GOP voted to remove the Wyoming Republican from leadership. This is, to me, Liz Cheney is, she's a Republican legacy. Her father was the vice president of the United States. Successfully managed to shoot a guy while hunting and not kill him. I mean, that was the remarkable thing. That whole thing, and that just kind of blew over. You would think that Liz Cheney would be one of the Republicans that would always safe and continue to have a future. Well, Liz Cheney, after the January 6th insurrection, she blamed Trump. And now she no longer has that seat. And 93%, this is the interesting thing, and then go ahead, Lola.
Well, the seat itself is not of any great import. It's just the big deal that they've been making about it. It's like, I heard somebody use this example. It's like the third string quarterback on a JV team, because the Republicans have no power in the House anyway. So being the minority party, in this way, she's got far more ammunition in the big long run of the picture. Because this kind of thing cannot continue. And after 22, I think a lot of things will change. And especially if the powers that be their powers begin to wane. So she'll be poised again to be the voice of reason. And it's not just that, she blamed Trump for the insurrection. She refuses to acknowledge the big lie. She calls everybody out on the big lie and calls out specific Republicans for perpetrating that. That's what got her in trouble. She's more conservative in her way of thinking and her policies than half of those. Oops. Got to be careful on that one.
Half of those people.
Yes. So this is a power grab from outside the party. And so far it's being successful, but it's still early yet, But yeah, as far as what she's losing is not, it's not going to affect anybody's day-to-day life. In fact, it'll make hers probably a whole lot better.
Yeah, probably make hers easier. And Lola's right. She is conservative.
Yes.
Quite conservative.
Very.
Before she voted to impeach former President, Cheney bumped heads with Trump over policy, though she voted in line with the former president nearly 93% of the time. So she wasn't a rogue Republican.
No.
Just because she had opinions and thoughts that may have differed from the former president, she wasn't out there going, well, I'm only with this party half the time. Nearly 93% of the time that he was in office, that she voted with the president. Her refusal to toe the Trump line, though, and was pretty much, she was called out by Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida, who called for Cheney to step down. This was last year. And as we see, Matt Gaetz, he's not doing it so great himself.
He may not be in power for much longer anyway if he gets indicted.
Yeah, so that's what I think is, here's what he said. Liz Cheney doesn't view her role as chair of the conference as one of the serving Republican members. She seems to think we're there to serve her. That's not leadership. That's something that Gaetz said in his podcast last July. That's not what we need going into the election. That's not what President Trump needs. So basically, you take someone who has a strong Republican, breed. You would say breed, a strong Republican breed. Her father was the vice president of the United States of America. And it's weird to me that you've seen and heard interviews, we talked a little bit about it, with George Bush. Now you have the former vice president's daughter, Liz Cheney, coming out and saying things. I feel like people like Matt Gaetz in this I don't know, do we call him a new Republican party? I don't know what even to call it. But Liz Cheney is a conservative for the most part. And just because she saw something that a lot of people refuse to acknowledge within that party, you're right. It's not like, she didn't just lose the Speaker of the House committee or chair. But the fact that she's being, in essence, punished for saying what she believes and feels is really not, to me, solidifying things in the Republican Party. I actually venture to say, because I think the Democrats are not doing it well at all, I think the Republicans are just as fragile, if not more so. If not more so. Right now, and we already had a caller that obviously expressed all his opinions about, the way things are happening right now in Washington. Again, it all ebb and flows. All of it. What seems to be the worst thing today will be a forgotten memory probably in 3 weeks. There will be new things to be mad about. Let's face it. Give it a month, and we'll be on different subjects that we aren't even going to remember that Liz Cheney lost this seat until it comes up again because it's related to another story, which it easily could be a Matt Gaetz story. Easily could be. Because he's not doing it real well himself right now. I don't know. I think that when you look at conservatives getting, I guess, heat, however you want to say it, removed from this seat, but heat from other conservatives, and just that, well, wait a minute, which conservative is the conservative now? How does this party work? Because if someone's getting removed that voted with the guy 93% of the time, what do they expect? No one to have any sort of input? No one to have any sort of difference of opinion?
That's right.
That to me,
you toe the line.
But that is anti the whole idea. The whole idea is we elect people and send them to work within this structure, this body of government. And I can't imagine anybody in their elections going, I just want to send somebody that will do absolutely everything someone else tells them to do. Doing what you're told is honestly the most miserable part of being alive. Not making your own decisions I mean, you can agree with what someone says, hey, that you should do this, and go, you know what, that's a hell of an idea. Why don't I do it that way? That's okay. But they're taking away the opportunity to even have the voice. Why send a voice if you're not going to have that person use it?
Butch likes to say, Democrats fall in love, Republicans fall in line. And that generally tends to be how it turns out, you know?
Yeah.
And if you don't,
adios.
Our way or the highway.
Yeah.
Don't let the door hit you in the ass. Here's your hat. What's your hurry? You know?
Yeah, but this is where I think, you know, we had Bill call in the last hour who was obviously very angry. This is where I think the anger is made. The anger is created for you to feel. The anger is created for you to feel. Now, you can dislike what somebody is doing. You don't have to like whoever the president is or the job that they're doing, whether it's this president or any other. And people are turning their back on George Bush, who was loved by so many Republicans, because now he's coming out and saying, look, some of this stuff isn't making sense and this is not how it should be done. And all of a sudden it's like, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, he was, you know, loved by many. So, you know, we're forgetting how we got here. We're forgetting how we got here. We put people in place to continue to link the past and the future into the present. How do we move on or move forward if all it is just toe this line here, and if you don't like it, we're going to show you why you should have done it. To me, this is like, and honestly, because I went there so I can say this is like going to Catholic school. Just don't like it? Put the knuckles out.
Yeah.
Put them out. For those of you that were cracked on the knuckles with rulers by nuns, you know that certain snap that goes with it. For those of you that weren't, good for you. Your knuckles are probably in much better shape than mine after all these years. But that's what it feels like. That is what this feels like. Don't open your mouth. And that's wrong. That's wrong. You know, there are certain things in this world today I don't understand why anybody would want to be, and honestly, a public servant is one of them. And certainly someone who is going to go off and try to deal in the House or the Senate and try to come in with hot, fresh ideas. Why? Why? You wonder why everybody sticks around and government is so old? Here's why. Here's the perfect example why. Just, you know, I kept my mouth shut most of the time and managed to make a pretty darn good living off the United States of America. What did you do in that 50 years, sir? This is a job. This isn't a calling. When people become a priest or a nun, it's a calling. Honestly, when you get so passionate about what you do, it's a calling. It becomes bigger than just employment. I honestly see this as just power grab and employment. Don't speak about something you truly believe in. Just toe the line or get out. And that's wrong.
What I find really disturbing is when you go back 3 years ago and you hear some of the more prominent Republican leaders in the House and the Senate, their attitudes and opinions about a lot of stuff are so vastly different than what they are mouthing now. You know, they were just so much more honest 3 years ago in how they, and I use that term loosely, but in how they feel and what their opinions may have been about certain things. Now it's just, here's your bullet points, you know, and this is what this is your script and you stick to it. And that's, you know, if you're a hardcore believer in anything, and you are from the very beginning, I may not like anything you have to say, but at least you are adhering and sticking to your principles. so many of these people are just, I mean, what's the crazy QAnon lady? You know, that's what she believes. She believed that when she was elected. She will probably believe that years from now. But at least she believes it and she stands by that. You know, so even though she's nuts, you got to give her credit for sticking to her principles and not knuckling under to any kind of pressures, you know, social media pressures or political pressures to tone it down or change her outward, the way that she voices certain things, you know. But these ones that, you know, flip flop, I mean, my God, they flip flop more than all the shoes I have in my house, and I've got tons of them. It just makes me sick. Marco Rubio and Lindsey Graham, to name a few, you know, because they were certainly not of this attitude 3 and 4 years ago.
Lindsey Graham should have
lost his mind.
Lindsey Graham should have one of those thought bubbles above his head. Here's what would be a perfect gift: a Lindsey Graham dry erase board with a thought bubble, and you could just fill in whatever, because that's what he'll say.
Yeah, I know it.
And that bothers me, because you don't have to like everything somebody says. I mean, there's been things he said that I went, I'm on board. And then 10 minutes later, it's like, that's not what you just said.
I really liked Lindsey Graham. I really did. I have lost all respect for that man. And the same with Marco Rubio. When he was first running, I think maybe for the Senate, it may have been the first time he ran, we were in Florida. So, of course, you know, we're inundated with Marco Rubio, commercials and speeches and all this other stuff. And I thought, you know, this he's young, he's
poised.
Yes, but you know, he's also, what is he? He's Cuban. And I thought, this is somebody that can really represent, particularly Southern Florida, well. You know, I may not agree with what party he's affiliated himself with, but you know, and now and even through the debates of 4 years, 5 years, 6 years ago now, there were far candidates that I you know, some of them, no, there's absolutely no way I could ever agree with. But other ones, I thought, yes, I could vote for this person, even though it's, you know, I am obviously a Democrat, not a Republican. But there were people I could have voted for. Now what? Now look at it.
I know. That's you know,
disturbing.
It is. I feel like a man without a country sometimes.
Oh, I certainly. This is becoming a country I don't even recognize in a lot of respects. I'm glad I'm old. That's all I can say.
Well, I mean,
I feel bad for people having children.
I can't even imagine how you explain what's happening in the world to kids. There's a part of me that hopes the kids that I love in my life don't ever know. Like, I just look the other direction, but you can't do that because it doesn't help create a solution to any of the problems. But I agree. It's so difficult to find a person or even a group at this point that you go, that group represents most of my core values and beliefs. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's hard. I mean, and that's from every side. That's a guy like Bill who called earlier and was obviously very pro-Trump. That's anybody.
AOC on the other side.
Yeah.
Can't tolerate that.
I mean, when I see somebody like Lindsey Graham lie about something or just completely 10 minutes ago, I felt differently. You know, I'm confused and just like, at this point, it's almost a work. You know, it's like, I'm just working it now. When I see AOC and anything that she has to say, I just like, how did you even arrive at? Is that a conclusion? How did you get there?
I know it.
Like, I feel like if you were running a race in 10 parts, she starts at 8. You know, I guess it's like, What basis do you have of any of this? Did you run the first eight laps? I don't know how you got it. And it is. It's so difficult. And it's so difficult. And really, and I'll just base this on people that have called and just a general idea of who we know that calls and things like that. Nobody in the older crowd, my age and older, I think truly understands the extreme side of either of this. Like, no older person is going to start to go, you know what, that AOC really knows what she's talking about. This is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And we're not going to see a solution to that. And eventually, I would imagine, because, I mean, at this point, she's popular. I don't get it. I don't get it. But she is super popular in younger demos. Like, she's not going to go away
because she's younger. That's why. And I will give them this. That whole younger age set has some very different ideas of the way that things should be run and the way that things should turn out than we do. And I don't hold any of that against them. What I don't like about AOC and that whole group that kind of hang together, and Bernie is one of them, and I love, now there, talk about a contradiction there, Bernie. But what bothers me is their lack of willing to compromise or even to listen to the other side. And that comes with age. I mean, and I'm excluding Bernie from that side because he has always worked across the aisle. He has always come up with he just has some very progressive ideas about how things should be done.
He's consistent. Whether you like him or not, he's consistent.
Yeah. But, what that whole younger group, it's my way, again, my way or the highway, and with age comes the willingness, I hope, to compromise, to listen to the other side, to put yourself on the other side and see how they understand how they feel about things, and come up with a workable solution. And I have not seen that from any of that progressive wing of the Democratic Party or the kind of offbeat side of the Republicans,
Yeah. It's Trump way or the highway over here, or it's my way or the highway over here.
Yeah.
Where the hell did all the people in the middle go?
They don't care about us.
But that's what's infuriating to so many. Infuriating to guys like Bill, to a guy like me, to a lady like you. I mean, that is the infuriating part. I feel like if you're not extreme in one way or the other, that now there's nobody in the middle going, how do we make this right for, John Q, average citizen who just, wants Social Security, continue to take care of his mother, but also wants the idea of being able to retire someday in front of him too. Like there's nobody fighting for those things in the middle.
Because the politicians that kind of feel like they're in the middle are all looking for money. Somebody's got to help get them elected. And if it's Trump on one side and the progressive wing on the other, that's who they're going to pander to, and to hell with the people in the middle.
Well, I think that's probably the best way to leave that, because you're right. We're going to go ahead and take this break. We talked way too long, but we'll take this break. We'll come back, get into some new stuff. We'll take your calls too, 304-214-1600. This is The Watchdog.
Hi, everybody. Marshall and West Virginia played their third game of the series. It was the rubber match, with the Thundering Herd winning in March and then the Mountaineers winning in April. So the tiebreaker in the series, who would win it? I'm Dan Zangrilli. My broadcast partner, Ernie Galuski, will join me from Mon County Ballpark to recap West Virginia and Marshall Chapter 3 coming up in today's Mountaineer Report, presented by Kroger.
Did you know that 1 in 8 Americans struggle with hunger? Yet more than 40% of the food we produce is thrown out. At Kroger, we know we can do something about this. We're donating more food to local food banks through our partnership with Feeding America. And we're working with World Wildlife Fund to end food waste. But we can't do it alone. and we hope you'll join us in creating a world with zero hunger and zero waste. Visit thekrogerco.com to learn how you can help.
Love getting prices that are lower than low on backyard favorites like grill-ready hamburgers and fresh-picked strawberries? Then shop at Kroger. We give you more ways to save on the fresh you love with tools like the Kroger app, where you can find personalized coupons on top of weekly sales, plus rewards like fuel points, giving you prices that are lower than the everyday low. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Well, it wasn't a pretty game. West Virginia defeats Marshall by a 4-1 score. The Mountaineers remain unbeaten in Morgantown against the Thundering Herd in baseball. The last Marshall victory was April 9th, 1991, a win in Morgantown, that is, some 30 years, 1 month, and now 3 days ago, Ernie. Mountaineers grabbed 3 in the second inning. Paul McIntosh hit another home run, his team-leading 7th of the year. Mountaineers used 10 different pitchers to get through a game that they win 4-1, but aesthetically it wasn't all that great.
No, but it's a win, right? It's a win, and you win the season series against Marshall. You win on your home field. You add another win to your win column to become 18-23 and get closer to that 20-win season that I know the Mountaineers are reaching for. So, yeah, you're right. They didn't pitch it well. They put 10 guys on base, 9 walks, and a hit by pitch. But in the long run, they won the game, which is what's important.
Paul McIntosh had 2 hits, and Austin Davis had 3 from the top of the order. All told, of those 5 hits that they had, 4 were for extra bases. Both are swinging good bats, and West Virginia is going to need both of them and others coming down the stretch. And in tomorrow's Mountaineer Report, let's take a look at some of the young guys who are really starting to relish in the playing time that they have been given over the last couple of weeks for skipper Randy Macy. There's a big 3-game weekend series coming up at Mon County Ballpark, the final one of the year, and we'll begin previewing that on the upcoming Mountaineer Reports. Final score 4-1. West Virginia defeats Marshall on Tuesday night at Mon County Ballpark. For Ernie Galuski, I'm Dan Zangrilli on today's Mountaineer Report here on MSN, the Mountaineers.
This is your VSIN action update on the Watchdog. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
Pittsburgh Pirates hosting the Cincinnati Reds. Afternoon baseball at PNC Park. The Pirates knocked off the Reds yesterday 7-2. Trevor Cahill on the hill today, 1-4, a 6.75 ERA. Pirates are the plus 148 underdog. Sonny Gray pitching for the Reds. They're laying $1.58 as a favorite. Gray 0-2 with a 3.92 earned run average. NASCAR at Dover, Delaware Sunday. Martin Truex Jr., the plus 350 favorite. Kyle Larson plus 450. Denny Hamlin 5-1. Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick are both at 7-1. Kyle Busch is 8-1. For VSIN.com, I'm Mike Sennett on the Watchdog.
We need safe and secure elections. But Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senator Chuck Schumer are pushing legislation in S1 that would undermine West Virginia's election laws, taking away our power and putting Washington bureaucrats in charge of our elections. Their bill would allow partisan groups to collect thousands of ballots without supervision. That's currently illegal because it leaves ballots unprotected without security, threatening the integrity of our elections. Worse, Pelosi and Schumer's bill would spend billions of public funds, your money, on political campaigns. Billions to subsidize politicians, even those receiving money from private donations. They want more money for politicians and more power for Washington bureaucrats. Call Senator Joe Manchin at 304-342-5855 and tell him we need safe and secure elections, not more wasteful spending. Tell him to stop the partisan power grab and oppose S1. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
It's time we put a stop to a few things. Right now, the D.C. establishment has all the power. The For the People Act will stop that. Billionaires buying West Virginia's elections? The For the People Act will stop that. Politicians and their families getting rich while we pay for it? Yep. The For the People Act will stop that too. Senator Manchin, you've always had West Virginia's back. Don't stop now. Stop corruption in its tracks and support the For the People Act, paid for by Represent Us. It's time we put a stop to a few things. Americans voting on machines that aren't made in America? The For the People Act will stop that. States using hackable voting machines with no paper trail? The For the People Act will stop that. Elections with no way to do careful audits or recounts by hand? Yep, the For the People Act will stop that too. Senator Manchin, you've always had West Virginia's back. Don't stop now. Stop election interference and support the For the People Act, paid for by representatives.
If you or your loved ones facing a serious legal battle, the law office of Paul Harris wants you to know you aren't alone. Do you need someone that's not afraid to go to trial and fight for your rights? Attorney Paul Harris and his team are willing to go where most firms are not. The courtroom. With a successful track record in civil litigation, criminal defense, including tax issues and healthcare fraud, Harris Law Office will fight for their clients by offering the most aggressive representation in and out of court. Call Paul Harris at Harris Law Office for a free consultation. 304-232-5300.
Hi, it's Howard Monroe. Coming up tomorrow on the Watchdog Morning Show, we'll talk to Dreama Denver. She is the wife of the late Bob Denver. Bob Denver, of course, was Gilligan of Gilligan's Island. She's written a new book about her life with Bob Denver, Gilligan's Dreams, The Other Side of the Island. We'll talk about life with the TV star. We will talk about their autistic son, and we'll talk about her life as a radio station owner in West Virginia. Dreama Denver, part of our show tomorrow here on The Watchdog. See you in the morning, 7 o'clock, right here.
Success has been so easy for you. But don't forget it's me who put you where you are now. And I can put you back down too. Don't you want me? You know I can't believe it when I hear that you won't see me. Don't you want me? You know I don't believe you when you say that you don't need me. It's what you like to find. Change your mind, you better change it back or we will never be sorry. Don't you want me, baby?
342 here at the Watchdog. I'm Rick, that's Lola. 304-214-1600, our phone number. Also, get at us on our Facebook page. If you're not following us on Facebook, just go find the Watchdog. You'll see our logo there. Hit the like button. You'll be informed when the shows start, and you can comment right directly to our Facebook page, either in the chat or you can send us a message. This isn't going to go anywhere, but Republicans today propose a bill to fire Fauci amid growing discontent with Dr. Fauci and Biden's, of course, top medical figure as we continue to move through this pandemic. The discontent has created the Fired Act. Representative Warren Davidson from Ohio is behind the bill officially entitled Fauci's Incompetence Requires Early Dismissal, or Fired Act. And it has been introduced. It's co-sponsored by a couple of other Republicans. And this is what they said. Few people have earned their termination more visibly. That's what Davidson said, in a statement to Fox News. His exclusivity and long tenure is emblematic of Eisenhower's farewell address, caution against scientific technical elites steering the country for their own ends, at odds with the truth and the national interest. So that is what Warren Davidson had to say about that. Basically, this is what the bill boils down to. It's not just as simple as fire Fauci. It says the bill would impose a retroactive 12-year term limit for the for the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, which is, of course, Dr. Fauci's actual title. The top scientist has held the job since 1984. So if the bill were signed into law, it would ultimately force him out of his job. Boy, you want to talk about the all-time time wasters of ending time wasting. I mean, that is look, he's not going anywhere. If I were him, I'd have just split.
Yeah.
It's not like doesn't have enough money to just split and go, you know what? The hell with this. Now, I'll be 100% honest, and I think we even talked about it yesterday. I'm tired of hearing from him.
Yeah.
I'm tired of him speculating, by next Mother's Day, the world could be back to normal. By next week, 6 weeks of this, and we'll just snap right out. I'm tired of all that, and so is everybody else. So is everybody else. But at the end of the day, Dr. Fauci's probably smarter than 99% of anybody in this country. And I truly believe that. You don't get to that just because. Now, the idea that he's been doing it since 1984, that's a long-ass time to be doing that. I mean, let's face it. That is a long time to be doing that.
That's a lot of experience
And that was
built up.
That's what I was going to say. How much have you seen since 1984? Do you want somebody that just steps into that job that's like, fresh out of medical school, I think I've got a handle on this? No, there's a reason that someone would have that job for as long as he had. And as much as I don't want to see his face ever again, he's not the enemy. He needs to not talk as much, but he's not the enemy. And the argument will always be, because, I mean, let's face it, at some point, and I'm sure when this pandemic is deemed over, whenever that is, he's going to retire. I mean, nobody could want to go through this. Nobody could want to go past this. But I think you're going to look back and see several things. One, Fauci has there's something called the Fauci effect. Kids are applying for medical school in record numbers because really one of the most important people during this pandemic was Dr. Fauci. Whether you like it or not, you agree with him or not, mask or not, vax or not, doesn't matter. That guy sits at the top of the heap as far as science goes in this country. Probably the world. I mean, you think about it, probably the world. He's not going to get fired, nor should he. But I don't know how he just didn't go, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't need this. His family gets threatened every day. Death threats constantly. This country has people threatening a man who is trying to figure out how to get rid of something that's killed 583,000 people in this country.
He's saving your life, whether you want him to or not. He is saving your life.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably the most simple way to put it.
He can just do it more quietly.
Yeah. Just stop telling us. Stop telling us. I mean, honestly, Fauci sometimes feels to me like the guy that's happy to lend you $5, but he reminds you every day that he lent you $5. Like, hey, remember yesterday when I lent you $5? Yes.
Remember when I bought you lunch?
Yeah. Remember that
3 weeks ago?
Yeah. He's the Kenny Banyan for Seinfeld fans. When Kenny Banyan gave Seinfeld the suit. Hey, Jerry, remember that suit? Like that's what Fauci still feels like. The buddy who has no problem lending you $5 or buying you lunch, but just reminds you every single day, I'm the guy that bought you lunch. Yeah. And that's what it is. For me, that is 100% what it is. I respect everything this guy's doing. I just, so much Fauci. Who do we got on the line? Oh, is it Bob? Yeah. Hey, Bob, what's going on?
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Good. What's on your plate for the day?
I got a few things going up. Governor Justice, in his presser today, worried about the possible shortage of gasoline. Basically, he said we're creating our own fuel shortage, which in a way I believe we are. A lot of ways we're running the gas pumps, but we'll follow up on that. I know Governor DeWine in Ohio has got a message to the state at 5:30. We'll be covering that as well, so we'll have that. A couple other things from earlier in the day, a couple big economic stories. Department of Highways held a presser at the Fulton Bridge, an update on the Bridges project across the county on how that's going. DK Wright was there for that, and she'll have a report on that in both the 5 and the 6. And then Aaron Myler went to Weird today. Frontier, the old Weirton Steel property, that is under demolition, and redevelopment. So we're going to hear from officials on what's going to go in up there.
Bob, I wanted to ask you. I mean, obviously, a lot of us saw what Governor Justice had to say. Are you seeing anything that it doesn't feel like it's overly dramatic here as far as people, filling up every gas can they could find? And I mean, we've seen pictures of people filling up 55-gallon drums to just store gas at their house and hoard it. It's like one of the things I think is the biggest misconception is this part of our state, and actually a very little part of our state only, gets gas from that Colonial Pipeline. Like everything here, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Ohio, we don't rely on it.
No, this is all pretty much Midwest, Florida, some of the Carolinas, things like that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. We are not getting anything from that particular pipeline. But
yeah,
people just don't see that, and they see line, and that's where they get worried.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, I appreciate the time, Bob. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 3:45.
All right, guys. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right, pal. Take care. Yeah. Oh, we need to probably take a break here, right? We stacked up. Yeah, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and finish out the hour right here on the Watchdog.
Babies come with lots of decisions.
Cloth or disposable? Crib or bassinet?
So when it comes to protection, go with the safest, most effective choice, vaccination. Get all the recommended vaccines for your baby by age 2 to protect your child against 14 serious childhood diseases. For more reasons to vaccinate, talk to your child's doctor. Go to cdc.gov/vaccines or call 800-CDC-INFO. A message from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Summer starts here at your Toyota dealer. So come in and save big on the car, truck, or SUV you need. Like a gas model RAV with up to $1,250 cash back. Or a Camry with up to $1,750 cash back. Or go with a Corolla and take up to $2,000 cash back. Visit buyatoyota.com for more great offers, to check out local inventory, and to find a dealer near you. You can take cash back or apply toward down payment. Offers vary for hybrid models. See your dealer for details. Offers end June 1st. Toyota. Let's go places. Summer starts here at your Toyota dealer, but where it goes is up to you. So come in and save big on the car, truck, or SUV you need to take on anything the season has in store, like a spacious Highlander or an all-wheel drive Venza hybrid, both with up to $750 cash back. Visit buyatoyota.com for more great offers, to check out local inventory, and to find a dealer near you. You can take cash back or apply toward down payment. See your dealer for details. Offers end June 1st. Toyota. Let's go places.
We all have someone we fight for. Join the Nailers Saturday, May 15th for Hockey Fights Cancer. Sign the I Fight For dasher before it's placed on the board during an intermission. Take home your own personal Nailers I Fight For sign. Buy tickets now for Hockey Fights Cancer Night, Saturday, May 15th. Puck drop 7:10. And also for Sunday, May 16th at 4:10 when the Nailers battle Greenville back-to-back. Call 304-234-GOAL or visit WheelingNailers.com. This is Nail City.
Moundsville. The Watchdog is protecting your yard. Join Howard Monroe, Hoppy Kercheval, Bill DeFabio, and Big Rick for the best live and local talk in the Upper Ohio Valley and beyond. Moundsville trusts the Watchdog.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Those nagging aches in your foot or ankle simply won't go away on their own. Podiatric physicians are the most qualified doctors to care for your feet based on their education, training, and experience. Your podiatrist can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, and show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care. Ask if your podiatrist is a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association so you know you are being treated by the very best. The Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association has been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years, and we look forward to caring for Ohioans' feet for another 100 years. To find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
Welcome back to the Watchdog. I'm Rick. That's Lola. If you're in downtown Wheeling, no doubt you have seen or experienced some sort of delay due to the water lines that are being pulled up. And every once in a while, our building shakes as they are working on it right behind us. So sometimes my phone starts vibrating, and I think I'm getting a call, and it's not. It's actually just the building. So hang in there. Hopefully that project is going to move swiftly. But it is kind of a strange sensation. It feels like little tiny earthquakes. Like, what is happening? But it's just that. So if you're in the downtown Wheeling area, don't worry. Let's talk about baseball. We've all had this dream. Tie game, bottom of the ninth, bases loaded. Well, on FanDuel Sportsbook, you can get more than just one shot to swing for the fences because FanDuel is letting you place your first bet risk-free. That's right. New users get up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet doesn't win. There's a reason FanDuel Sportsbook is America's #1 sportsbook. The app is simple to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets, unique fun bet types like same-game parlay, and always-on promotions to let you get more action out of every game day. And when you win on FanDuel, your payout, your winnings could come in as little as 24 hours. So let's talk about it. The Pirates, not as bad as everybody thought, but certainly not very good. It is still going to be quite the overhaul for the Pirates. Although they did. I think they lost 7 of 10 or 8 of 10 recently. They did win the other night. Pirates currently in the basement of the NL Central at 15-20, so 5 games under 500. Leading that division is, seemingly as always, the St. Louis Cardinals. And on the American League side, not too bad of a go of it so far for the Cleveland Indians in the AL Central. Indians looking at a 19-14 record, only trailing the White Sox by 1 game for the lead in the NL Central. So baseball is certainly picking up, and you can just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with the promo code RICK to get in all the action. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code RICK. Spell it R-I-C. 21 and present in West Virginia. Real online money wager only for risk-free bet. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires within 7 days. Restrictions do apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. Talking about the baseball, Pirates, they could be worse. They could be worse. Although they expected the Orioles to be terrible too. And they actually have won more games than the Pirates. They're 16-21. And as far as your Tigers go, looking a little rough there, 11-24 in the basement of the AL Central. But that is big sports news too. Maybe we'll talk about it next hour. But the Athletics may actually finally leave Oakland. That would be a big story and a big loss for the city of Oakland, California. We're going to go ahead and take our break. We'll come back in the next hour. We'll get to your phone calls, talk a little bit more sports, and anything you want to. 304-214-1600. This is The Watchdog.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The CDC advisory panel has approved Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine to be used for kids as young as 12. That vote unanimous and follows the FDA's authorization earlier this week. Some states like Georgia have already started giving shots to that age group. The U.S. now sending a diplomatic team to Israel for emergency talks following days of escalating violence.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken now also involved in the talks to calm tensions between the Palestinians and Israelis. The State Department says Blinken spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and expressed condolences for the lives lost to the violence.
And Israel has a right to defend itself.
The new round of attacks started Monday after Israeli police pelted Palestinian protesters with rubber bullets, tear gas, and stun grenades at a holy site in Jerusalem. Blinken added,
Palestinians have a right to live in safety and security.
Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
A judge in Minnesota has weighed in on sentencing guidelines for Derek Chauvin.
Judge Peter Cahill said 4 of the 5 arguments made by the prosecution calling for an aggravated sentence for Derek Chauvin are supported. The judge said the prosecution has demonstrated that Chauvin abused his position of authority, that the treatment of George Floyd was particularly cruel, that the crime was committed in front of children, and it was committed as part of a group. The judge did not agree with the prosecution, however, that George Floyd was particularly vulnerable. State guidelines recommend roughly 10 to 15 years for Chauvin, but the judge could give him more based on these factors. Mark Remillard, ABC News.
In Charlotte, North Carolina, the mass transit system announcing fare free transit for all residents there during the gas shortage caused by the ransomware attack on the Colonial Pipeline. That major pipeline, offline since Friday, could be fully operating by the end of this week. You're listening to ABC News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
While the Colonial Pipeline is expected to be back online by the end of this week, around the world efforts are being made to help vulnerable countries protect themselves against similar cyber attacks.
Interpol creating a new cybercrime operations desk with UK funding to help vulnerable countries in Africa and the Indo-Pacific build up their cyber defenses to prevent China, Russia, and others from filling a cyberspace vacuum. Interpol writing in a statement, quote, cybercrime is one of the most prolific forms of international crimes, with damages said to cost the global economy $10.5 trillion annually by 2025, end quote. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, at the Foreign Desk.
Oakland, California has lost the Golden State Warriors to San Francisco and the Raiders to Las Vegas. Now, the Oakland Athletics could soon be moving. ABC's Alex Stone with more.
Oakland A's fans are worried and angry that the team might pick up and move over the lack of a new stadium. The team now could go to Portland or Las Vegas. The A's have been in Oakland since 1968. The team wants a new waterfront stadium in Oakland, but it's frustrated with nonstop delays.
A woman in her 60s recovering from a liver transplant not only has a new life-saving organ, but one that made history. She got her liver from Cecil Lockhart from Welch, West Virginia. The World War II vet died at the age of 95 earlier this month, making him the oldest organ donor in U.S. history. This is ABC News.
Here's the dirt on dust. It may seem fine, but it's actually made of dead skin cells and dust mite droppings. That's where Swiffer Heavy Duty Dusters come in, with thousands of specially coated fibers to trap and lock dust in one swipe. Dust can't hide on ceiling fans and bookshelves anymore. When you're done, just remove the disposable cloth and voila! That dust is gone for good. Now that you know the dirt, say goodbye to the dust. Swiffer Heavy Duty Dusters. Stop cleaning. Start Swiffering.
I'm Michelle Franz on ABC News.
Governor Mike DeWine was among a bipartisan group of 6 governors to join President Joe Biden in a virtual discussion yesterday about how the nation can get more Americans vaccinated. Laura Queso with affiliate station WKYC-TV in Cleveland reports.
Governor DeWine highlighted how Ohio has been able to get nursing home staff and residents vaccinated, the importance of his ongoing communication with local health departments, new walk-in clinics. Ohio has 1,900 vaccination sites. Convenience is key.
The businesses that have us come in have a health partner that does it. They work very closely with their employees, and they're able to get an uptake that, quite candidly, I don't think we would have gotten any other way.
I'm Laura Queso.
And Ohio's restaurants continue to struggle to maintain adequate staffing levels. Roxanne Elias with affiliate WTOL-TV in Toledo has more with John Barker, who heads the Ohio Restaurant Association.
Some are looking to hire, others have to close early because they don't have the staff. But it could be worse. Some places aren't open at all. May 23rd, Ohio will implement a new rule for those out of work.
Ohio decided to require employees that if you're on unemployment, you at least have to go out and try to secure employment. You have to go out and interview and do those kind of things. And I think that will bring some people back into the marketplace.
Roxanne Elias in Toledo.
And I'm Daniel Barnett on the Ohio News Network.
304-214-1600. Call the Watchdog with your thoughts. We'll be right back to Local Talk.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
A serious injury from an accident can be just the start of your worries. What if you cannot return to work? How do you take care of your family if you're disabled? At Gelner Law Offices, we represent seriously injured people and understand their problem. We know how to get you fair compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection. Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors. He can talk up and down Route 2 and Route 7 at the same time. Just ask him. Keeping it real for your ride home. It's Real Big Talk with Big Rick on the Watchdog.
Sedation. You wanna feel at home, 'cause you belong. Welcome to my nightmare. Welcome to my breakdown. I hope I didn't scare you. life is just a dream here. You know inside you feel right at home. Yeah. Welcome to my breakdown.
Welcome to my breakdown. Hopefully not until 5 o'clock. I'm Rick, that's Lola. This is the Watchdog. Your calls are welcome, 304-214-1600 as we continue to move through this afternoon. This just popped up from the WTRF. Well, I have the app. You can get the app, WTRF, in your app store, whether you have Google or an iPhone. But this just came out. An Ohio lawmaker will introduce legislation on Wednesday, so at some point this afternoon. Now, we do know that at 5:30, Governor DeWine is going to have an address to the state of Ohio about COVID and COVID-related items. But this lawmaker is going to introduce legislation at some point today to end Ohio's COVID-19 health orders. This comes from Representative Scott Wiggum, Wayne County, Ohio. It says it would rescind the mandates with a majority vote once Senate Bill 22 goes into effect on June 23rd. We file a concurrent resolution to rescind the restrictive health mandates that have barred Ohioans from their freedoms and liberties granted to them under the Constitution. It will end the mask mandate, school mask mandates, and social distancing mandate. That is what they are looking to do. Of course, you'll remember that Governor DeWine said he would lift the remaining health orders once Ohio's rate of cases per 100,000 consistently dips below 50, which they're not anywhere near in Ohio. So that is where we are with that. I don't know what DeWine will have to say today at 5:30. Obviously, it's not 5:30, so I have no idea. But I would conclude with the states around it doing better. Even Michigan is doing better, I believe, than it. Certainly, Michigan was a hotspot for all of this, and it is doing better. Pennsylvania, who has had some of the strictest laws, have dates in place where they are going to loosen restrictions. I would assume Ohio's headed in that direction. Wouldn't you think that?
Yeah. What they want to do is strip DeWine of all power to make any decisions about this. So and they've been after that for a while.
I know, which is crazy to me. He's the guy that I think has done it the best. I think he's been ahead of the game.
It's that.
I know. I'm not going to make you say it. I know. I don't know. For me, the thing about dropping the masking orders, we're all tired of wearing them. We're all tired of talking about it. We're all tired of all of it. I mean, I can attest to the fact that me wearing a mask stopped me from getting COVID when a doctor told me there's no way that you won't get it. In the situation I was in with my mom, who had it. I was in a small room with her for 6 hours. I kept my mask on the whole time, and lo and behold, I did not get COVID. So you're not going to convince me that they don't work. And until kids get vaccinated, and I know a lot of people are saying I'm not going to vaccinate my kids anytime soon, although I think it just came out that Pfizer has been approved for kids with 12 to 15. Yeah. So the opportunity is there. The opportunity is there to get a lot of kids vaccinated if their parents are going to do it. And I just don't see how you drop those mandates until more kids, especially in the school part. Adults are going to do what adults are going to do. They're going to. I mean, if you're not somebody that's going to wear a mask, you're not going to do it, whether DeWine says you should or shouldn't or anything else. But to say that also local governments, local counties can't put mask mandate restrictions in, which is what at least South Carolina is doing that. South Carolina came out today and said, this is over, and you can't, and we're overriding your right to do it. It's just, I don't know. To me, Ohio is on a pretty good path. Why do this now?
You know, I just love how they say it's against people's freedoms. Well, so is death. You know, I hiding behind that, I think, is more disturbing than making these grand pronouncements. You know, to hide behind it's our personal freedoms and it's what the no, our personal freedom is not to die. I don't. That's like hiding behind a flag. You know, I'm just going to wave this flag. So, you know, if you're against me, then you're against the flag. It's the whole thing is just ridiculous. They're pandering.
Yeah,
Again, pandering to a base, and
this is definite pattern. Like I said, I feel like the wine's done a pretty good job.
I do too.
I think he really has been, if nothing else, transparent. You know, measuring the idea of whether the right call is 50 cases per every 100,000. I mean, I don't know. I don't get the same briefings he gets every day, so I have no idea. But I think the idea of doing it off vaccination percentage is not going to happen. I mean, I don't see that happening in any state. But we'll see what he says at 5:30. I just thought it was kind of interesting. Like, now is the time. Now that things are trending in the right direction, and it seems like it's an attainable goal to get everything back in motion in a reasonable amount of time from now. I mean, how many times have we said we're in the middle of a pandemic? Well, I mean, I think we're towards the end of it, more so than the middle, but it's also got to finish. It's also got to finish. I mean, I want to stop talking about it forever. I mean, we'll never be able to. It's the amount of things that'll fall out after this are, I mean, it could be a variety of things, but it will continue to be discussed and talked about for quite a long time. But that's what's going on in Ohio. 5:30, Governor DeWine is going to address the state about what to do about that. I don't know if he'll have anything to say about this particular set of legislation that's been trying to be pushed forward, but I don't see it happening. I also think, what is the point? If you're going to try to strip a governor of having power, look, and I live in Pennsylvania, and I don't really particularly care for that governor at all. But if you're just going to try to strip the governor of having power, then why do you have one? I mean, somebody has to have their name on a decision. Someone has to have their name on decisions. Nobody takes accountability for anything unless, well, I mean, people blame Biden for everything that's wrong, or people that didn't like Trump blame everything, the world's problems on Trump. They didn't get there by themselves. There's a lot of other people below them making real bad decisions too. Somebody's got to be accountable for things,
Here's the thing, if DeWine hadn't really put strict controls on things, and a lot more Ohioans had died or gotten really sick than what actually happened, then everybody would be pointing a finger at him saying, you didn't do enough. I mean, that's exactly what is happening with Trump. You didn't do enough at the beginning to really curb this whole pandemic. Now, I'm not blaming Trump for this, but I think more should have been done on a federal level initially. That, instead of letting the governors, because a lot of states too that got hit worse later kind of felt like they were out of it. It was either an East Coast or a West Coast thing that was happening. So the whole middle of the country, by allowing the states to determine their own procedures and the time frame they wanted to, a lot of those states then got hit once it was under seemingly control on both coasts. So if there had been like some of these countries in Europe have done, there was an overall blanket. I don't care if your town hasn't seen a single COVID, positive test. Everybody's under this, and it I think it kind of helped to keep a damper on some of it, because once you let people start moving around again, that's how it got spread.
Yeah, and it was. You're right. Certainly towards the middle or the beginning of this, the central part of America, the Midwest, they just assumed it wasn't coming. There were places like Wyoming that were like, it's not going to hit Wyoming. This is a California or Florida thing, or there were a California, New York thing. A lot of the middle part of America was like, this isn't going to happen here. And it didn't seem to. I mean, it didn't. Really, West Virginia case, West Virginia was the last state without a case.
I know, but he clamped down early on. He followed DeWine's lead. DeWine would do something, compost Jim. A couple days later, Justice did it, and then you had Wolf over here kind of. I guess the newspapers kind of get lost in between here and Harrisburg. I don't know, but you know, but that's how it seemed to go.
Yeah, no, it did.
Ohio, then West Virginia, then Pennsylvania.
It did. It did. We have somebody on the line.
Yep. Here's Tim.
Hey, Tim, what's on your mind?
Hey, buddy, I just wanted to make a statement here. You got to remember what Trump did to the pandemic team. He canceled it because it had Obama's name on it, and he called it a hoax. And to me, he was a big problem with the pandemic, and that's all I wanted to say.
No, I nobody here is going to disagree with that, Tim. Trump could have done a lot more. Knowing that he canceled the pandemic team, because it wasn't like he wasn't aware of that. And then he tried to downplay it. And let's face it, had it not been downplayed at the beginning, it might not be. Now, and we don't know. It could be just as bad as it is now. Who knows? Who knows? But I agree. At the beginning, it was just kind of like, this isn't going to become anything. It'll be gone in it'll pass quickly. And it didn't. And we're still living in it. And what could have been done, I don't know. I don't know if you were listening, but we talked earlier about Fauci and how we're just tired of hearing him talk. Well, he probably knew what he was talking about, and I think he does know what he's talking about. I think he's a brilliant guy, but it fell on deaf ears. Trump didn't want to hear it, and then here we are. And I'm not blaming the pandemic on Trump. I don't think he brought it on, and I can praise the guy for giving the green light to just get vaccines made as quickly as possible without red tape. That he did, but at the beginning there wasn't enough. Yeah, at the beginning he didn't do enough. I don't know what he could have done, but it could have been better.
Yeah, and I was listening when you talked about Dr. Fauci, and I haven't taken the flu shot since I got out of the military in 1985 because it got me sick every time in the military. But I listened to Fauci. I went and got it. I went and got both these vaccines. So, and I don't know that I would have. So I thank him for that, and I think he is a brilliant man, and he's a national treasure myself. That's just my opinion.
Well, Tim, I thank you for the call, pal. That we do appreciate it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel like Tim. I think even some Republicans that look at this and go, they got their shots. And I went, yeah, we could have probably done more than this. But again, I don't think anybody can argue with saying, hey, Trump greenlighted something with as much funding and as much whatever you need to get this done as quickly as possible. That he deserves the check mark for it. He deserves the check mark for it. But at the beginning, it was, this is just the thing that will go away. It will eventually
go away in the summer.
Yeah, it didn't pan out that way, I guess. We'll go ahead and take our quick break here, and we'll come back and continue on. We'll take more of your calls too, 304-214-1600. That is the Watchdog.
The Variety Show with Bill DeFabio is live on the Watchdog Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. We talk to some of the region's best business owners while keeping you informed about area events and happenings. You won't believe who I have on next. Tune in and get with the program. Guests from preachers to pros and even some Super Bowl champions. Join me, Bill DeFabio, from noon to 2 for the Variety Show on the Watchdog.
We need safe and secure elections. but Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senator Chuck Schumer are pushing legislation in S1 that would undermine West Virginia's election laws, taking away our power and putting Washington bureaucrats in charge of our elections. Their bill would allow partisan groups to collect thousands of ballots without supervision. That's currently illegal because it leaves ballots unprotected without security, threatening the integrity of our elections. Worse, Pelosi and Schumer's bill would spend billions of public funds, your money, on political campaigns, billions to subsidize politicians, even those receiving money from private donations. They want more money for politicians and more power for Washington bureaucrats. Call Senator Joe Manchin at 304-342-5855 and tell him we need safe and secure elections, not more wasteful spending. Tell him to stop the partisan power grab and oppose S1. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
Are you or your loved ones facing a serious legal battle? The law office of Paul Harris wants you to know you aren't alone. Do you need someone that's not afraid to go to trial and fight for your rights? Attorney Paul Harris and his team are willing to go where most firms are not. The courtroom. With a successful track record in civil litigation, criminal defense, including tax issues and healthcare fraud, Harris Law Office will fight for their clients by offering the most aggressive representation in and out of court. Call Paul Harris at Harris Law Office for a free consultation. 304-232-5300.
The Ohio Valley would like to welcome Airgas USA to the tri-state area, your one-stop shop for all your welding and safety needs. Airgas is the United States' largest distributor of industrial, medical, and specialty gases and related equipment, products, and services. Airgas carries more than 36,000 safety and welding products. Check out airgas.com with free ship to store on over 200,000 items. Or stop in to see us at 2208 Warwood Avenue. Mention this ad for an additional 20% off your first purchase. Some exclusions apply.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
WKKX and WVLY voted coolest couple in their high school yearbook.
Sometimes I feel I've got to run away. I've got to get away from the pain you drive into the heart of me. The love we share seems to go nowhere, and I've lost my light. For I toss and turn, I can't sleep at night. Once I ran to you, now I run from you. This tainted love you've given, I give you all a boy could give you. Take my tears and that's not nearly all. Tainted love, tainted love. Now I know I've got to run away. I've got to get away. You don't really want any more from me to make things right. You need someone to hold you tight, and you think love is to pray.
Welcome back. It's 4:30. That's Lola. I'm Rick. This is the Watchdog. Boy, it's been a newsy news day. I mean, sometimes we get into some more fun stuff, but it's been a really newsy day. I mean, because there's a lot of it. It's a lot of it. Got a half hour left. Phone lines are open, 304-214-1600, and boom, just like that, somebody is on the line.
It's Tom.
Hey, Tom, what's going on?
This just in.
Did you just do the breaking news beeps, Tom? That's
the
awesome.
Brazilians have just invented a car that burns toilet paper that everybody had stored up from last year.
Oh, they're going to have to if people keep buying gas. And again, I can't harp on this enough. We don't have a gas shortage here, so please stop hoarding it.
I haven't been following that, but did you know Neil Young, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, he had all these people. He's got these mechanics, and they took all these old, like, Chevys and just, big boats and converted them to electric cars. But
I didn't specifically know that, but Neil Young is very environmental.
and he would drive them all over the country and stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't specifically know that, but he is very environmental. Of course, Neil Young is one of the big voices and influencers of
The green thing.
Well, and Farm Aid. I actually got a couple of years ago. Farm Aid was in Burgettstown, PA, at whatever they call it this week, but we'll always affectionately call it Star Lake. And I really got a lot of information about Farm Aid, and I talked to Jamie Johnson, who played Farm Aid, who's actually playing here coming up on July 30th. So kind of a cool thing. But I got to learn a lot of things about Farm Aid and how environmental Neil Young is a big part of that, and of course Willie Nelson. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me about Neil Young. I'm sure he's also a big Lionel train guy. He has one of the biggest Lionel train collections in the world. So he's a transportation person. I'm not shocked by that.
No, I'd like to just smell whatever comes out of the vents of him and Willie's, product, like a hybrid. Half electric, half whatever the heck Willie's cooking up this week.
I will say this: I have never met Neil Young or Willie Nelson.
Oh, me neither.
However, in the backstage area in Burgettstown, where Star Lake is, there's basically trailers set up that are the. If you've never been back there, they're just basic trailers, and they have they're the dressing rooms, the locker rooms, and production trailers and things like that. When I went to Jamie Johnson's dressing room to do an interview with him, Willie had to be nearby because you could smell him coming. That was it is.
Oh, that's Telltale Trace or something.
It is a heavy smell. That I have met Snoop Dogg in my lifetime, and he also had a very similar essence to it.
Well, as much as I do, I'm really not too stinky. It's not like a lingering thing, but.
This is just powerful stuff. I mean, for a guy who is not well versed in the world of marijuana, I went, whoa.
Oh no, but I saw Neil Young in Cleveland when he did Rust Never Sleeps, and it was so cool. Have you ever seen the movie Rust Never Sleeps?
No, I have not.
Well, I saw him do the concert, and then like 2 months later, they did the movie, and we went up there. Used to be a movie theater up in Warwood, the Warwood Twin or something perhaps, and we went in there, and then we left. We thought the show was over, and he plays what's his name? Up in the morning and go to school. You know what I mean? The guy from the 50s. But they played that after the whole thing was over. You sat there, and the road eyes, they had these road eyes with these weird eyes and stuff, and they would carry the microphones and stagger around and hit, they would have accidents with this, like, 10-foot high microphone. But the end, I don't know what else to say, but the only icing on the cake was there was a movie.
Yeah, you know what, I enjoy.
I was at the concert. You have to watch Rust Never Sleeps, like Neil Young, where I think the movie was, in California or something, but.
Yeah, I'll check. Now, you know what? I actually think I went to that tour. Did he just have like a big screen behind him that essentially showed an animated film throughout the course of the show?
I'm going to say it was 1978, 79.
Okay, no, this is something completely different.
I know, man.
I'm still a young pup compared to that show.
It's all good, but it was great, man. But the movie was almost better, But all right, see you guys.
All right, Tom, take care of yourself. Yeah, all I can tell you is this: there have been 3 people in my life that I knew they were coming: Willie Nelson, Snoop Dogg, and Aaron Lewis from the rock band Stained. That was, whew. I mean, it's weird. The idea of a contact high shouldn't come from somebody's clothes or skin, but sometimes people just have that essence about them. We'll go ahead, take our break here. We'll come back. We'll get into some lighter stuff as we get ready to round out this day here on the Watchdog.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Chris Lawrence. The White House now says there's a change in the schedule in connection with a visit tomorrow from First Lady Jill Biden to West Virginia. She will not be going to Arnoldsburg Elementary in Calhoun County. That because of a COVID-19 quarantine issue that involves the school. Mrs. Biden still has stops scheduled in Charleston, including at a vaccination clinic at Capitol High School, as well as a visit with the West Virginia National Guard. She'll be traveling with U.S. Senator Joe Manchin and Charleston native and actress Jennifer Garner. A man is in custody charged today after an early morning stabbing in Charleston. 37-year-old Michael Fleming Jr. was charged with first-degree murder in the stabbing death of his fiancée, 34-year-old Virginia Bradford. Charleston police say Bradford suffered multiple stab wounds at a home the two shared on Sunset Drive in Charleston. Fleming is in the South Central Regional Jail. Although West Virginia does not get very much of its fuel supply from the Colonial Pipeline, there are still scattered reports of gas lines and gas hoarding here in the Mountain State. Those reports particularly pointed in the Eastern Panhandle, where gas stations in neighboring Virginia and Maryland are running out of fuel. Tracy Nelson, president of the Oil Marketers and Grocers Association of West Virginia, says yes, there are reports of stations in West Virginia being out of gas, but she says that's to be blamed on consumer panic and not producers.
Consumers are creating these outages right now because they're going in and filling up, gas cans in their cars, even when they don't need it.
You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. It is National Hospital Week, and here in West Virginia, Hospital Association President Jim Kaufman says it's the perfect time to spotlight and thank employees of hospitals across the Mountain State.
After dealing with a worldwide pandemic for almost a year and a half, they're physically, emotionally, and spiritually drained. So this is really a great opportunity to say thank you for all that they've done.
He says it's also a good opportunity to focus on the financial struggles hospitals are forced to endure with below-cost reimbursement from government health care providers. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Chris Lawrence.
AutomotiveMap.com presents the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on the Watchdog. I'm John Thayer. Washington Wizards back in action tonight. They're in Atlanta to take on the Hawks. The Wizards are currently 32-37. Coming off of a loss the last time out. The Hawks, on the other hand, they won their last time out. They are 6-4 in their last 10. The Hawks are 38-31 on the season. Tonight's game will be featured on ESPN. Major League Baseball action today. The Orioles are on the road in New York. They'll take on the Mets in an afternoon contest. Matt Harvey will go for Baltimore. He's 3-2 this season. Pirates are at home to host the Reds this afternoon. Trevor Cahill gets the start. The Pirates are 15-20. And the Nationals will host the Phillies tonight. The Nationals will start John Lester. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. I'm John Thayer with the Sports Flash, powered by The Score on the Watchdog.
I am one of thousands of women with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body. I am living in the moment and taking Ibrance, palbociclib. Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Be in your moment. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss.
Millions plan for retirement online. Estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, and manage your benefits all from the comfort of your home. And give yourself the freedom to do what you want offline. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Does your dog need groomed or walked? Are you looking for a pet sitter or dog boarding options? If so, call Dirty Paws, Wheeling's newest pet care service, providing the Ohio Valley with everyone's pet care needs. Check us out on Facebook at Dirty Paws WHG or call 304-639-7754.
Summer starts here at your Toyota dealer, so come in and save big on the car, truck, or SUV you need, like a gas model RAV with up to $1,250 cash back, or a Camry with up to $1,750 cash back, or go with a Corolla and take up to $2,000 cash back. Visit buyatoyota.com for more great offers, to check out local inventory, and to find a dealer near you. You can take cash back or apply toward down payment. Offers vary for hybrid models. See your dealer for details. Offers end June 1st. Toyota. Let's go places. Summer starts here at your Toyota dealer, but where it goes is up to you. So come in and save big on the car, truck, or SUV you need to take on anything the season has in store, like a spacious Highlander or an all-wheel drive Venza hybrid, both with up to $750 cash back. Visit buyatoyota.com for more great offers, to check out local inventory, and to find a dealer near you. You can take cash back or apply toward down payment. See your dealer for details. Offers end June 1st. Toyota. Let's go places.
Hi, it's Howard Monroe. Coming up tomorrow on the Watchdog Morning Show, we'll talk to Dreama Denver. She is the wife of the late Bob Denver. Bob Denver, of course, was Gilligan of Gilligan's Island. She's written a new book about her life with Bob Denver, Gilligan's Dreams, The Other Side of the Island. We'll talk about life with the TV star. We will talk about their autistic son, and we'll talk about her life as a radio station owner in West Virginia. Dreama Denver, part of our show tomorrow here on The Watchdog. See you in the morning, 7 o'clock, right here.
.42 on Wednesday afternoon. We're almost there, getting into the other side of the week. I saw this this morning. Actually, it was on somebody's social media page, somebody that I know, and I thought I would check this out. But there is a change.org petition that urges the city of Weirton to fund the Weirton Area Museum and Cultural Center. Right now, it looks like they're looking for 200 signatures. Right now, they have 102. So I have never been there personally, but here's what the Change.org had to say. Although not funded by the city of Weirton, the Weirton Area Museum and Cultural Center represents the city, preserves objects entrusted to us by local families, and educates both area residents and those beyond our geographical boundaries about who we are as a community, historically and culturally. Consequently, the museum operates as an outreach arm of the city of Weirton and is a tourist destination. It's an all-volunteer organization, and they have an extremely limited treasury. So if you've been there and you want to help out, there is a petition, like I said, going on right now to have the city of Weirton help fund this. Also, it says that they can write grants for things. However, this is they're looking for opportunities to write grants to get a social media specialist and public information officer, things like that. So check it out if you're interested in preserving local history. I'm a bit of a history buff myself. I would think that this is a good thing to make sure that it stays open and continues to roll in Weirton. So check that out, change.org, and you can just type in Weirton. Well, I'm sure if you just type in Weirton, but Weirton Area Museum and Cultural Center, and you will be able to sign that petition right there, looking for another 98 signatures on that. Lola, I figured this would be something that we could have a fun discussion about, since you and I are both very much into music. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2021 class was announced today. And
who did they manage to leave off again?
well, and again, I know, look, I get the crowd that we talk to every day, and I think we actually have a very diverse crowd, which is very cool. You know, we get to know you as you call, and we do appreciate that, or comment and whatever. And I think we have a diverse crowd. So some of this may get lost a little bit. But two very notable absents are Iron Maiden, who in the heavy metal world are the heavy metal band. A lot of people would go, "Oh, well, I thought that was Metallica," because even my mom knows who Metallica is. But Iron Maiden is probably a band that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's just to me a no-brainer. And the other one that I think is a huge omit is Rage Against the Machine. Again, I know a lot of people may not know a lot. Our listeners may not know a lot about Rage Against the Machine, but Rage Against the Machine, and I think you would probably be able to attest to this too, Lola. They were revolutionary with what they did. You want to talk about a lot of artists making a stand. Well, Rage Against the Machine was certainly an artist that took a stand. In fact, years after they broke up, they actually in 2019 were going to get back together and go out on the road for the first time in a long time. And honestly, they are a very left-wing type of band. You may not like the message, but they did things that were really revolutionary, and musically, they are just super tight. They're just an amazing band to see live. So those are the two big omits in my opinion. But here's who got in. The Foo Fighters. Makes all the sense in the world.
That's good.
All the sense in the world. Dave Grohl going to go in as not only a member of Nirvana, but now as the head of the Foo Fighters. And they laugh at themselves and refer to themselves as dad rock. But the Foo Fighters are probably one of my absolute favorite bands and certainly deserve to be there. This is an interesting one. I saw a little heat on this. What are your thoughts on the Go-Go's? The Go-Go's made it in.
Whether you like bubblegum or not, they were an important part of, that whole kind of bubblegum.
Yeah,
I like the Go-Go's.
Yeah, I've got nothing against the Go-Go's. I think there's two bands that I mentioned got omitted that certainly belong in there too. But I can't make an argument to say that the Go-Go's don't. I can't make that argument.
There's other ones in there that, in my estimation, you can knock them out and put the Go-Go's in.
Sure. No, I agree with you. Here's the others. This one will raise some brows. Rapper Jay-Z gets into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I never liked the idea of it being the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
No, because it's not all rock and roll.
Yeah,
I mean, if they were going to keep it Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it should have stayed rock and roll.
I agree. And I have no problem with the fact that Jay-Z is going into a Hall of Fame for musicians. He belongs there. Run DMC is in that Hall of Fame too. And I most certainly think they belong there. But rapper Jay-Z gets in. Carole King made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
About time.
Yeah, agreed. Todd Rundgren. To me, I could accept him being in there, but he was probably not somebody that I would have thought was on the absolute must-make list. Here's one we both would agree, hands down, Tina Turner.
Again, it's taken this long.
I'm glad, knock on wood, that Tina Turner is alive to see herself go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Wonder if she'll come.
I doubt it.
I do too, but boy, she is one of the few people that I would stand in line for days to get tickets to see.
Yeah.
I
great documentary about Tina Turner out right now. Did you watch it yet?
No.
Worth the watch. Tina Turner's story is Hall of Fame worthy. And then there's her abundance of talent that makes her even more so worthy. But the story of Tina Turner is a pretty, it's not pretty. It's not pretty.
It's not.
But boy, how she managed to become everything that she's become.
How she managed to live through some of
Yeah,
it.
no, that's a true story. Do we need to clear spots here? Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
We're good? All right. So, yeah, but I thought Tina Turner belonged in there, certainly, and I'm happy to see it. And like I said, watch the documentary. Somebody actually took my documentary advice and watched the Octopus documentary. I'm telling you, watch the Tina Turner one. It's great.
We should have, I was telling the kids about it, the octopus, but we were getting close to the truck being fixed, and the kids were getting very bored with Turtle Tales at that point. We were watching Turtle Tales and thought it was absolutely awesome, but the kids had already seen it, so it was like, no, we can't. There is no way they would have sat through 2 more hours of anything.
Yeah.
So.
Get a little rambunctious.
But,
yeah. No, I watched the Orca one the other night, too. Yeah, definitely watch it. There's a great Orca one on, too. I feel like such a dork. Back to who got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This has won the Musical Excellence Award. Randy Rhoads, who is certainly deserving. Billy Preston, certainly deserving. And LL Cool J. Make an argument. Not a chance. LL Cool J belongs into, again, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I think, is a stretch, but certainly belongs into a music Hall of Fame. I'd be happy if somebody wants to debate Music Hall of Fame with me right now. Who's on the line?
We'll see about this one. Go ahead, Tom.
Okay, go ahead, Tom. What do you
This
got?
isn't Tom. This is Tim. No, this is Tom's brother.
Oh, this is Tim. Okay, so sorry, Tim. What's on your mind?
There was a lady on the BBC this morning, and she, I think she was talking about that movie and stuff, and she says, that dang thing stole my wedding ring. Like the octopus.
Oh, yeah. Did she what? Is this...
Well, they were commenting. The BBC will take like 20 minutes, and you'll wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, what's she talking about? And she had to have been talking. Isn't it like an award-winning movie or something? Yeah. It's a big thing, right?
Yeah, this documentary, yes. And it's really incredible.
But
yeah, if you can get your hands on a password to watch this thing, because I can't remember what.
Oh no, I'll figure it out.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say you're
in 3 months.
Guy, Tim.
In 3 months, it'll be at the library.
Yeah, I hope it is. It's great. It's definitely worth a watch.
Another good thing to watch. We were talking about the Neil Young movie, but Bob Dylan in 1992 did a thing at Madison Square Garden, and everybody and their grandsister came to do this show and stuff. And it was like Bob Dylan's 50th birthday. Okay, I'm guessing it's 30 years later or something because he's 80. But
yeah, I haven't seen that one. There's been some historic rock or just music films filmed at Madison Square Garden, and I know Bob Dylan has one. I don't know that I've seen it though.
Do you remember when Sinead O'Connor went on Saturday Night Live and tore up the picture of the Pope?
I do.
Well, she went on stage at Madison Square Garden like 3 days later or something when they were doing this thing. I'm talking like June and Johnny Cash and all these. Ron Wood, George Harrison, all these different people would just come in and play like 2 or 3 songs. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers killed it and stuff, man.
I'll look it up.
I'm talking to one of the biggest music critics or whatever I could meet in my lifetime, and then you didn't see this. But in any event, it's all good. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have some sort of a function on your phone. You could plug it into your TV and watch this on high def or
Yeah, TVs now you can are usually connected to the internet, so you can just.
I still have a bunch of cathode ray things I'm watching with the stupid thing that picks up signals above. But that's just me, man.
Well, hey, before I let you go, because we're getting ready to the end of the show,
okay.
who is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this season that you like?
I haven't been that far, but you know what? Steve Miller was in there about 4 or 5 years ago,
Yes.
and he says this almost didn't happen because I guess
They treated him poorly and his family.
somebody, a member of his family, they wanted, I don't know, thousands of dollars for them to even get a ticket.
Yes.
I mean, that's a little bit hitting below the belt as far as I'm concerned. I mean,
Yeah, no, Steve Miller was very upset with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and even though he was going to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he almost didn't go because he was so insulted.
Thank you.
By the way, he was treated. Jan Wenner, who was the the executive director or whatever, who was the former Rolling Stone magazine editor, he took a lot of heat for that because it's like, this is Steve Miller. He belongs in here in his family. He shouldn't have to pay an extra $1,000 for a ticket.
Was it 1,000? I thought it was 10,000.
Oh yeah, I mean it was whatever. Well, it was some sort of astronomical
Well,
number.
but I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
All right. See you, man.
All right, buddy. Take care. So yeah, it was some sort of astronomical number, but he's right. Steve Miller was very upset. A very cool thing too that happened at that particular Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. It was Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick gave Steve Miller a Miller Time guitar that looked just like a beer, and it was a very cool gift to be given. If you're watching on the live stream and all of a sudden you went, where did it go? The answer is I don't know. The screen just went black. So if you are missing seeing my smiling face, but still hearing me, we'll try to get that corrected here at the end of the show. But I'm not sure what happened. Again, the building has been rattling a little bit today because of the water pipeline stuff that's going on right behind the building. So maybe that had something to do with it. But yeah, I just thought the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stuff was certainly worth mentioning. Did you see there was a tiger on the loose in Houston?
Yes.
That's a weird one.
And poor tiger, they're coming at it with guns drawn and stuff, and it couldn't have been very old.
No.
And then the guy runs out, and he just grabs it by the collar. Come on, cat, And then he loses it. How do you lose a cat?
I don't know. I mean, I always think back to that incident that happened in Ohio quite a few years ago.
Oh, that was awful.
Yeah, man, I can't. Tigers are beautiful. They belong in the wild where tigers belong, or at least in an actual, if they belong in a zoo, at least in an actual zoo where they know how to care for them.
There are more tigers being held in this country like that than there are in the wild, which is just really disturbing. Nobody has any business keeping a cat like that. I mean, they go, oh, well, it's a pet. I raised it from the time it was a baby. It's still a wild animal. I mean, my cats that are real small, can rip you a new one if they get upset with you. So why anybody, and it's just wrong. They belong in the wild. They're wild animals.
Yeah, no, I can't. I'd be scared to death to have a tiger in my house. And we'll just finish it up on this one because I think it's kind of a fun one. Well, I mean, not for this guy. A woman holds a fake funeral for her boyfriend so his mistress would show up and think that he died so she could confront her. That's a
little extreme.
That's a biggie.
That was a lot of money to spend just to punch somebody in the face.
What do they say? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. There you go. So that's it for me and Lola. We'll come back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We'll talk to you about all kinds of stuff, and we'll take your phone calls as well. So you guys have a fantastic rest of your evening from us here at The Watchdog.